Of summer are back. It's been 6 months since the Orange and Black have taken the field at 3rd and King. Tonight, the bulbs at SBC Park light up the city of San Francisco. The countdown to opening day continues as the Giants take on the A's. It's spring training baseball in high-definition television right here on FSN. On this, the last day of March, your San Francisco Giants have returned from Arizona tonight. It's Game 1 of the Bay Bridge Series against the Oakland A's. In Game 1 back here at SBC, as he's been saying all day, Happy New Year, everybody. Baseball back in the Bay Area. Greg Papa alongside Mike Krukow, excited to be with you. And I think the guys are excited to be back in the big ballpark and playing under the lights here.
Well, back home, that's why they're excited. Yesterday, Jason Schmidt said, I just haven't been able to get excited about a start the last 3 or 4 times in Arizona, but now they come back into San Francisco. They get here at SBC Park. They start to sniff the air. They start to feel that the bell ringing is close, and they get that little bounce in their step. The big question tonight, though, is around the guys coming off the bench late in the game. For the most part, Felipe Alou is going to play his starters early, but the guys who come in late, they're going to be playing for jobs. And the other thing, don't get hurt. Don't get hurt.
We are going to talk to Felipe Alou later on tonight during the 3rd inning. Speaking of getting hurt, Ray Durham, a little bit of a groin injury, but he will be back in the lineup tonight. When we come back, we'll check in with Mindy Bach, and I'll give you an update on the Giants' leadoff hitter, power hitting at second baseman, Ray Durham, as we continue on FSN.
Jason Ellison, he is that man we're looking at. And take a look at what he did last year, the last day of the season. Hit his first big league homer. He went 2 for 4 in his 4 at-bats as a Giant for the first time, and this was one of his hits, a round tripper. And he definitely is one of those guys who has a chance to break north and be with the club on Tuesday when the team opens up.
I'll take a look at our Chevron top-tier player crew. And Jason Ellison, a glittering spring, hitting over 300, a homer and 6 RBIs, a stolen base. He scored 9 runs in 24 games, and he plays extraordinarily well in all 3 outfield positions. Quite likely we will see him at some point in the game tonight as the Giants are back by the Bay at SBC, and we'll see a lot of their starters tonight. Mike Matheny in the lineup. The Giants' brand new catcher will bat 8th. He'll be catching Kirk Reeder. Moises Alou will be in right field, and good to have Ray Durham back at second base and leading off for the Giants tonight against his exactly 6 months and 5 days since Felipe Alou took his spot in the SBC Park dugout on the 3rd base line. And he's been smiling a lot of the spring. The Giants did a lot of work in the ensuing 6 months. One, of course, of the big moves that Brian Sabian made, Kruk, was bringing in Felipe's son, Moises Alou. And, of course, we spoke about Omar Vizquel and Mike Matheny we've talked about. But how about Armando Benitez, one of the best closers in baseball now, will anchor the 9th inning for the Giants?
Well, I think that's going to do wonders for the staff, too, Greg. I think he's going to relax a lot of the other guys in the bullpen. It's nice to have an anchor who wants the ball, who has a reputation for being a closer. And certainly Benitez brings that to the table when he shows up, puts on a Giants uniform. But, the thing that really stands out in this spring, with all the new additions that the Giants have made, it has been on the defensive side of their game where they have made the most improvement. And, you look at what they did this year as a team. They did not score that many runs. I mean, they were the fewest amount of runs scored in spring training in the Cactus League, yet they were 17 and 11. And what that says is that even though they hit 290 as a team, they didn't have to score a lot of runs to win. And that, I think, is significant. As you go into the season, you don't have to rely on having to score 7 or 8 runs from your offense to win a ball game. And when you have defense and you have pitching, it makes it home. You're going to win those ball games 3-1, 2-1, 4-1.
New spot for Pedro Feliz will be in left field tonight, sans Barry Bonds. Let's check out Ken Maka's lineup for the Oakland A's. The A's went 14 and 16 in the Cactus League portion of the preseason. Katse, Ginter, Kendall, then Eric Chavez, Eric Burns. What a year he had last year, best by far in the major leagues. And he goes into this season knowing for the first time that he is going to be an everyday player. He'll bat 5th. Scott Hatteberg, the veteran of the A's, over at first. Nick Swisher, the rookie, in right. Marco Scutaro will play for the injured Bobby Crosby, but good news on Crosby's injury from yesterday we'll detail later on. And Seth Etherton trying to take the 5th. He wants that 5th spot in the A's rotation. He'll match up with the Giants' number 2 man, Kirk Reeder.
Well, Kirk Reeder has seemed to turn his whole situation around because he's throwing in a higher slot. Look at his numbers last year, 9 and 12, 4.73 ERA. Those are not Kirk Reeder-like numbers. And a lot of people believe that he was just too low with his arm slot, which caused his sinker ball to flatten out, his breaking ball to be slurvy. This spring, however, he came down. He got into a higher slot. He was throwing pain-free, and the results coming out of spring training have been fantastic. Greg, 2-2. The ERA for Reeder 3.15. But here's a significant number: 20 innings he's thrown, he's allowed 13 hits, and that's something he didn't do a lot of last year. He did not hold his hit count down very well.
Well, last year he gave up 225 hits in 190 innings of work.
Let's take a look at the defense behind Kirk Reeder. In the outfield, it'll be Feliz in left field. Grissom, Alou will be his counterparts in the outfield. Across the infield, it'll be Alfonso, Vizquel, Durham, and Snow, and Mike Matheny will do the catching.
Now, you talked about the Giant defense. They were third in the National League a couple of years ago, regressed to 8th last year, and we're underway. Kotsay lifts the first one in the air right to Marquise Grissom, who has won 3 Gold Gloves throughout his career, back as an Expo and a Brave. And one guy I think that will most benefit among the pitchers from the defense, you spoke about how the defense can help the pitching staff. Kirk Reeder is a guy who plays Gold Glove caliber defense himself, but he needs good defenders behind him.
Well, the reason for that is he's not a strikeout guy. He's going to average around 2 to 3 strikeouts per 9 innings, and he's going to put the ball in play. So a good defense behind Reeder is going to make for a solid year.
Keith Ginter, one of the additions the Oakland A's made. He was acquired via trade from the Milwaukee Brewers in mid-December. He had 19 home runs last year with the Brewers. Of course, the A's offseason, talked about the Giants adding players, 4 big free agent signings. The A's offseason quite the opposite for Felipe Alou's counterpart Ken Maka. The fact that they said so long to 2 of their big 3, a whole new look A's club this year.
Reeder wanted to come inside with that fastball. It's another thing he's done a lot of this spring is he's thrown to the inside part of the plate, and a lot of people believe that it's from the urging of Mike Matheny, the Giants' new catcher.
Sets up inside here, Kruk, and misses low. 3-1 to Ginter.
With Reeder, Greg, he really tells you how well he feels by the pace that he works. When he's working a quick pace, you know his arm feels well and he believes in his stuff.
Dave Righetti, Giant pitching coach. That's a atypical walk there for Kirk Reeder. So Ginter is on. Now, we spoke about the A's. We're going to see Jason Kendall bat in a moment here, Mike. He was the #1 addition as far as a frontline player, a great player with the Pittsburgh Pirates. They also got Charles Thomas from Atlanta. We mentioned Ginter and a couple of the young pitchers they got from St. Louis and Atlanta. But they had to give up Tim Hudson and Mark Mulder. They shocked baseball when they traded those 2 pitchers within a 72-hour span last December.
You know, I think shock's an understatement. It wasn't so much the Hudson trade, but when they dealt Mulder, that blew my mind.
Well, Mulder was not very good last year. Had a poor second half after starting the All-Star game. Barry Zito is going to be the lone remaining Big 3 member. Will be the opening day starter Monday in Baltimore. Of course, the Giants open Tuesday here against the Dodgers, and the A's will open on Monday at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Jason Kendall, we know this guy well from his tremendous career with the Pittsburgh Pirates. He has 2 strikes on him, but he's a great 2-strike hitter.
Maybe the best in the National League last year, and this guy is one of those people. I mean, not many people in the league can strap on the catcher's gear and you can count on him for 150 games, and Jason Kendall is one of those guys. I mean, he runs well. He has got great instinct on the base paths as a runner. His sensational approach, and boy, with 2 strikes, he is as good as there is. Really gears his whole at bat up towards the middle when he gets to 2-strike situations.
There's one up the middle. Comebacker to Durham. Here is Omar trying to make a couple of outs the first time he touches the ball as a Giant. Reeder to Omar to JT Snow. Not bad. 1-6-3 there. And down go the A's in the top of the. Little bit outside for a ball. Ray Durham already in the box. We got to hurry up here. Oh, he hit him. Durham's on base. He's like Kirk Reeder trying to work the inside part of the plate, but you can't hit the guy. Those A's, you can't trust them. JT Snow, what a year he had last year. Durham Vizquel will hit ahead of JT. Only Ichiro over in the American League hit higher than JT's 387 after the All-Star break. Moises Alou cleaning up, followed by Pedro Feliz. Then Edgardo Alfonso, Marquise Grissom, Mike Matheny catching. Kirk Reeder will bat 9th against the A's right-hander Seth Etherton, trying to nail down that 5th spot in the A's starting rotation.
Etherton, a fastball, a curveball, and a palm ball. He's had a pretty good spring, 0-1, a 4.20 ERA, 18 hits allowed in 15 innings. Battling for the 5th spot. It's a big start for him.
In fact, we're going to see Kirk Saarloos, who is going to follow up Etherton Apparently, one of these two right-handers will be the A's 5th starter when the season starts. Ray Durham back, as we talked with Mindy Bach before the game. He was out about a week with a groin injury. Checked his swing against the Rockies' young starter Jeff Francis last week. Felt the groin give way immediately. Did stay in the game long enough to get down to first base, but he's not played since. There's a strike.
It's that bomb ball. You talk about Etherton and Sarlos both battling for that number 5 spot. Both similar type pitchers, relying heavily on the changeup.
How many guys throw a palm ball anymore, do they?
No, remember Dave Justy?
Yeah, Pittsburgh Pirates.
He had one of the better ones I've ever seen.
1-2 pitch to Ray Durham. One-time Oakland A. Lays off Etherton's 89-mile-an-hour fastball. Etherton used to be a very hard thrower. He was a #1 draft pick of the Angels back in '98 out of USC. And he is just 4 years removed from shoulder surgery. There's an 89-mile-an-hour fastball taken to left center. The ball comes back to Eric Burns. And Durham is retired for the first out. That'll bring on Omar Vizquel.
And fans making his SBC Park debut. How about a big welcome for number 13, shortstop Omar Vizquel.
Rennell with the introduction. First time Omar has ever played here at SBC Park. Had very good numbers his final year in Cleveland last year. Mentioned the 9 Gold Gloves crew, but he's a good offensive player. He's a 3-time All-Star. And he has gotten to be a very good offensive player the last 8 years or so of his career.
Now he's got some pop from the right side, as he is a switch hitter. He's a little slappy from the left side, but this is what he's known for right here, his glove. And you will really enjoy the balance and the footwork he has around the bag. Very similar to the type of balance and footwork that JT Snow has at first.
And that's the key, isn't it? Ball flared to left. Burns playing shallow, and he retires Vizquel for the second out.
Take a look at the A's defense tonight, led by that man right there. 4 consecutive Gold Gloves. Eric Chavez at third base. He'll anchor the infield. In the infield, he'll have Scudero, Ginter, and Hatterberg. The outfield will feature Burns, Kotze, and Swisher. And the new A, Jason Kindle, does the catching. A's fans are going to love Jason Kindle.
Two great new catchers. Giants picking up Mike Matheny, formerly of St. Louis, and Kendall, a longtime Pirate. It'll be a thrill to watch Matheny work with this staff. The Giants have Gold Glove winners all over the field. We talk so much about the age of this team. Maybe they should be dubbed the Golden Oldies. JT's won 6. Omar Vizquel's won 9. 3 for Matheny. Grissom has won 3. And when Bonds gets back, don't forget, he's won 8 Gold Gloves in his career. That's 29 combined.
Still a lot of what ifs surrounding Barry Bonds as to when he will be back. But I believe he will be back sooner than later. But we miss him.
Well, he had the second scope on the right knee, as you know, on St. Patrick's Day, March the 17th. So the way I look at it, Mike, if he gets back, say, mid-May, somewhere around then. Now, the Giants last year did not begin to take off until mid-May. They were May the 16th. They were 15-23 when they went to Wrigley and got that great one-hitter by Jason Schmidt. That's kind of where the season began to turn around for them. So if they can have a decent record, certainly they can be a 500 or better club without Bonds. That could be better than where they were last year in mid-May, and then get him back. JT Snow, a clean base hit, picking it up where he left off last year. And JT had a terrific spring, hitting at .364. Here comes Moises Alou, his first at-bat, even though it's the Babe Ruth series as a Giant.
Batting and also making his SBC Park debut tonight, right fielder, number 18, Moises Alou.
Now, Moises Alou, the kind of a big leaguer that if you're a father sitting next to your son or your daughter in the stands, you look out and say, you know what, I want you to play the game like that guy. Because he plays it right. He's always been a very conscientious pro. A guy who has always showed up in shape, ready. Suffered through some severe injuries in his career, but he has had an outstanding career, and he may be one of the better fastball hitters that has ever played this game. He is exceptional to the #1.
Only 2 Giants have World Series rings. Moises Alou from the Marlins and Marquise Grissom in the mid-90s with the Braves. 5-time All-Star. And the Lou tradition continues in San Francisco as he pops this one up. Keith Ginter on the back pedal. The Giants get a 2-out base hit from J.T. Snow, but he is left stranded at the end of one. Baseball is back by the Bay. A's and Giants. All next week for the 3-game series against Todd Hilton and the Rockies. So get your Giants ticks at 510-762 ball or go online at sfgiants.com. Big numbers for Eric Chavez last year. That's a base hit, grounding one right past Alfonso. Pedro Feliz in left field. And Chavez will take off and make it to second base, leading off the second with a double.
Little CNI ground ball. Chavez will go the opposite way, although you don't play him that way. Edgardo Alfonso, the Giants' third baseman, played well off the bag, exposing the line, and Chavez finds it. An easy double.
Eric Chavez, now the senior member of the Oakland A's. And here's Eric Burns. For a while, Burns this offseason wasn't sure after those glittering numbers he put up he would be in Oakland. He was rumored to go just about everywhere. In fact, at one point he was rumored to be becoming a Giant. And I think the A's are going to hold on to him at least to start the year. Leader on the pitch away. Burns drives one to left field. Long run for Feliz. Gone! Out to left center. A pitch away he went out and got. And the A's take a 2-0 lead.
Well, I tell you, for a kid who was raised in the Bay Area, very well aware of both clubs' histories, playing for the A's and coming in against the Giants, he rakes in this ballpark. Has always hit well in this ballpark. And not fooled one bit. The front foot goes down, hands stay back. Not fooled at all. And the reason for that is the hands stayed back. A little bit of a hip slide, but when you keep those hands back and high, you've got power, and he showed it. And for Reeder, who doesn't give a lot of home runs, that's doing something.
That's why when they were talking about rumors that Burns may cross the Bay and be a Giant, I thought that's not a bad move the way he hits here at SBC. We all remember that 5-for-5 cycle game he had here a couple of years ago, but last year here on the 4th of July, he had a 2-pump game. He grew up a big Giants fan, born in Redwood City and went to St. Francis High School in Mountain View.
Kind of guy that gets better every year, too.
Zito giving him a little bit of think about the trip around the bases. And there's the souvenir. First home run at SBC this year. Scott Hatterberg launching one. And out in front a little bit, but that one's going to get wet. I mentioned his 2-homer game against the Giants last year here, but how about the catch he made over at the McAfee Coliseum now, it's called, Kruk, out left center.
Sensational. Absolutely sensational. Made a couple plays in that series that everybody seemed to be impressed with. Certainly we were.
Back live, Scott Hatterberg strikes out for the first out here of the top of the second. Let's take a look at Reeder getting strike 3.
Well, did he go? Little slider in the dirt. Giants appealed.
Rob Drake says, "You're out of here." Now it'll be Nick Swisher.
Small ballpark tonight. There's 0 wind out here.
You don't often say that here, huh? Small ballpark.
No, I mean, this is really a midsummer day. Weather around the Bay Area, absolutely perfect for baseball.
Well, spring is in the air this last day of March. Giants will be home tonight, tomorrow night. They'll play over in Oakland on Saturday, come back here and take on the Rangers on Sunday. Nick Swisher, he blasts one in the gap. Pedro Feliz getting a workout here in the top of the second, and Swisher has a double.
That's a quick bat. See from this swing why the A's are so high on Nick Swisher. Switch hitter, just a real quick route to the ball. Good balance through the ball. He's got good throw from his backside. He's ready. Talking to him, he is bursting at the seams to start. He wants to make it count. He echoes a lot of sentiment from both clubs. They want this thing to start. They're tired of spring training. If you're a young player and you're going to go and hold down a big league job for the first time, you want it to start now.
Now here's a guy who had to wait until he was 28 years old to get that big league job last year, Marco Scutaro, because of the injury to Mark Ellis, and he's in there tonight playing at shortstop because of the injury to Bobby Crosby. You may have seen the tape from Arizona yesterday. Bobby was hit by a pitch thrown by Brewers pitcher Gary Glover and took a shot in the left hand, but x-rays today negative, so good news for the A's. They are going to give him an MRI. The A's are hopeful that Crosby will be able to make opening day in Baltimore. There's a strike.
Nice two-pitch sequence there. Missed inside, but not by much. Came right back out and painted the knee-high locator. Outside corner. So Reeder's done all spring. He's had a great spring.
This is Kirk's last tune-up, obviously. He'll take the baseball the second game of the year. Opening night here against the Dodgers. That'll be next Wednesday. The Giants have known their starting five for weeks. In fact, Felipe Alou announced back on February 23rd that Jason Schmidt would pitch opening day. For the second time in his career, slicing drive goes foul. Kirk Reeder's been the Giant opening day pitcher each of the last 2 years. He'll get it the second game. And I think he's deserving after what he's done the last couple of years. Jason Schmidt was in line to win the Cy Young last year before he missed some starts in August. And Brett Tomko with a great finish will be the third man of the rotation. Noah Lowry, the fourth man, and Jerome Williams. That's a pretty solid rotation.
Well, you've still got two young pitchers in that rotation that have to do well this year if the Giants are going to do what they hope to do. Noah Lowry, Jerome Williams, and they've got to pitch a lot of innings, and they've got to give their team a chance to win.
Edgardo Alfonzo showing more range over at third base since he lost about a dozen pounds in the offseason. Throws out Scudero and holds Nick Swisher at second base. 2 away. Now we saw the young man missing a couple of teeth, got the Burns home run. That was a souvenir. The guy behind him caught it and then gave him the baseball. He's got the fastball grip. He's ready.
Two-seamer.
Here's Etherton showing bunt even with 2 outs. Etherton's not gotten many at-bats. He was an Angel to start his career and briefly pitched with the Reds also. Here's Reeder's 1-1 pitch again, showing bunt, and it's a ball.
I'm not really sure if you better check the scoreboard. There's 2 outs out there. He's squaring like he's trying to sacrifice.
Well, that may be just what, you know, a lot of times the A's don't want their pitchers swinging the bat at all in these games. They don't want them getting hurt at all. Even when they had Mulder and Hudson, a couple of great hitting pitchers, they wouldn't let them swing the bat.
You know what? That's when I'd have to risk the fine. If you're going to play for a league where you're not going to get an at bat, really, I guess, until interleague. And even then, you might not get many ABs. You come up in spring training, you're going to get an at bat. You got to go Yahoo, Daddy.
Yahoo Daddy. He bunted strike 3 foul and he strikes out. That wasn't
killing me.
God. So
Swing
Eric Burns, he went Yahoo Daddy. 2-run jack out to left center, and the A's strike first. 2-0 Oakland. We'll back with you here at SBC. We'll be visiting with Giants manager Felipe Alou coming up in the third. Right now we're going to watch Felipe's left fielder tonight. Pedro Feliz leadoff, then Edgardo Alfonzo and Marquise Grissom will follow against A's right-hander Seth Etherton.
Pedro Feliz a little bit different stance this year. If you remember last year, he would always hit with an open stance, and when he would plant his stride step, it would stay open. But now he's a little bit more closed at address, and he's a little more square when he plants that foot. In spring, he has really hit the ball hard. 3 homers, 13 RBIs, .413 batting average.
He's locked in for Joe LaFay. Little squibber to Etherton. So what will that new stance do for him?
Well, I think the concern is to have plate coverage to enable you to drive the ball on the outside part of the plate. I think when you start wide and you plant wide, at times you give up some of the outside part of the plate. And I'm not talking about the outside corner. I'm talking about 4 inches off the plate. Some umpires, you need to go out and cover that area. And I think he's in a little bit better position to go out there and cover that. He's always had the ability to drive the ball the opposite way.
Edgardo Alfonso, we noted earlier he's lost about 12 pounds, looks a lot slimmer, showing more range over at third base than he has his first 2 years as a Giant. Went and played winter ball in his native Venezuela for a couple of weeks this offseason. First time he's done that since the 2000 year, he says.
Well, the weight is the biggest thing about this guy's game. We saw him make plays a couple weekends ago that he just didn't make last year. I mean, a high backhander where he went to his right, went down on his belly. I mean, he got right back on his feet, squared, rifled a shot to first base, and it wasn't even close. He didn't have that kind of bounce in his legs last year. And you lose the kind of weight that he lost this offseason. Two things happen. One, you get your bounce back, and two, you start to get more range, and he has executed that type of ability, I think, all through spring. The range on that left side, I mean, anything hitting the ground left side of the infield right now, you're thinking it's going to get caught between Vizquel and Alfonso.
Nick Swisher coming in at right field, and he retires Edgardo Alfonso. 2 away. Golden State Warriors road trip continues tomorrow night in Salt Lake City. Join us as Lord Baron Davis and the Warriors take on Jerry Sloan's Utah Jazz. Warriors and Jazz tomorrow at 6 on FSN Bay Area. Warriors playing their best basketball in years. They won 4 straight on the road. Tomorrow night we'll look to make it a 5-game road winning streak for the first time since 1971. Now here's Marquise Grissom. It tells you about the depth of this batting order. Grissom hit a lot of third for the Giants last year at Kruk, and now he's hitting down in the number 7 hole.
Well, I think number 7 slot is really a good spot for Marquise. It's a fastball slot. And you know you're going to get pitched to because you're down there in the part of the lineup. Listen, I've always liked the guy who can run a little bit in that spot. And Marquise could definitely do that. He can leg out an infield hit still.
Pops this one up. Will the Giants be running more to begin the year minus Barry? We'll talk to Felipe Alou about that and other things as we continue at the end of 2. A's lead on the Burns. Alongside Mike Krukow, Greg Papa back at SBC. Let's welcome home the Giants and their skipper Felipe Alou. Welcome, Felipe. Must be good to be back home, huh?
It's nice to be back home, especially a night game at home. We had a couple of night games in Arizona. By the way, we won both games, but it is really nice to have this night game at home.
You and I were talking earlier, played one night game in Surprise against San Diego. The second night game at home was actually power shortaged out, I guess, a little bit in the middle of it. Is it important for the hitters, because you play so many spring games, Felipe, to hit the ball under the lights and get used to playing night baseball again?
Really, I like it more for the defense than anything else.
Really?
I know that the ball you're going to see better at night anyway, but the defense, you got to get accustomed to the light. The only disappointment for me tonight is that wind is not blowing. We have some guys here like Lou and especially Vizquel, who never played here before. I was hoping for a real windy night and everything, but we're going to have plenty of those in the near future.
Skipper, usually this part of spring, you're trying to just not get hurt. You're trying to finish off spring, but still there's a lot at stake for a lot of guys in your club.
Yeah, we have 3 more games. I'm planning on playing these regular guys at least 3 at-bats, or maybe some of them 4 at-bats under the lights. But yes, the name of the game, stay healthy and get off to a good start.
Overall, how would you characterize your time in Arizona with the group?
We had a tremendous spring. A lot of guys got better. Talking about our own guys, farm system guy, pitching healthy, all the way through healthy. Bullpen okay. I mean, I believe we in November named our 5 starters. They are the same guy. They're healthy. Can't ask for a better spring than that.
Plus, you had a nice surprise from Scott Munter.
Yeah, Scott Munter. He's still here. I mean, I always say his name should be Monster. I mean, he can really throw, and he gets righties and lefties out.
Herman Munster was a pretty good baseball player.
Well, I don't know if Herman Munster had as good a sinker as Scott Munter, but it's nice to see a guy with sink coming out of that bullpen.
He used to hit the Dodgers, I remember, Herman Munster.
Yeah, this guy really, I mean, it's a high sinker. Most sinker are in the 88, whatever. This guy's in the 90. And he throws strikes one. I never seen a young guy throw strike one so quick like this guy does.
As you mentioned, you got a lot of good young pitchers. We know about Matt Cain and Merkin Valdez and
Pat Mish.
How about Jesse Foppert? What is the situation with Jesse as we play the last few games here of spring training? This one hit by
right
Ginter
now,
to left field.
Jesse's a big lead pitcher.
Nice play by Pedro.
Jesse's a big lead pitcher, you know, so we're going to have to deal with that one before Saturday. It's a deadline for roster purposes. A big league pitcher, it is up to us whether we're going to want to have him in the bullpen or have him start at AAA, but we're not there yet.
Skipper, because of all the hard decisions you have to make with your bench players and the remaining spots in your team and the number of players who really have had tremendous springs that make your decision tough, is this the hardest week for you to be a manager?
Sure, it is the hardest week since I've been with this club anyways. Last year it was a no-brainer. I mean, we had to do a few things to fill up, especially the pitching. You know, this year we had to leave some other guys out of this club that would have probably been sinks to make our club last year. That is a sign of a much better ball club. The young guys, Necro, Torcado, now the kid Gallimore is a much better player now than he was last year. So really, we're going to have a tough one coming this weekend.
You know, the Fresno Grizzlies should certainly be better this year, as they've got a lot of depth in this organization that'll be trickling down to AAA. There's a comebacker by Reeder. Another double play ball. Omar Vizquel, as that feed was a little offline by Reeder, but great footwork there by the outmaker, and Omar again turns a 1-6-3 double play. Nice play by Feliz, getting back on the wall to take one away from Ginter as the A's don't score in the...
Well, season tickets for Giants baseball are still available. And remember, Giants season ticket holders enjoy the following benefits. First option to purchase your same seats to the 2007 All-Star Game in San Francisco. Control the games you want to see, including opening day, the Giants-Dodger rivalry, and the Cubs, Cardinals, Mets, and, of course, the A's. First option to purchase your same seats to all postseason games played here at SBC Park, and priority access to purchase single-game tickets before they go on sale to the general public. So go online to season tickets at sfgiants.com or call 415-972-2298.
All right, Mike. 2007 All-Star Game coming to SBC Park. Here's Mike Matheny. He'll be followed by Kirk Reeder and Ray Durham. Matheny pops one up foul on a very calm 59-degree evening. This guy's happy that it's calm, but interestingly, as we were talking to Felipe Alou, and we are going to visit, we hope, with Felipe on Sunday during our broadcast over on KTVU, but he was saying, I was hoping it'd be a little windy, a little more San Francisco-like to help out the new Giants, and in particular Moises Alou.
Well, Felipe, an ex-outfielder, I mean, he knows how difficult it is to play here in San Francisco.
Matheny gets hit.
Well, Mike Matheny is not afraid to get hit by the ball. I mean, this guy is one of the biggest studs I've ever seen at hanging in there and being able to take one tough.
There's Kirk Reeder in a bunting situation with Matheny over at first base. And Reeder already squares. Chavez, four-time Gold Glover, coming in at third. After 10, will go to second, and they get the lead runner, Matheny, for the first out. Now, you were talking about Mike Matheny being tough. If you're a little squeamish, you may want to turn away from the screen, folks, and we're not joking. But let me take you back to 1998 when Mike Matheny was a Brewer. Look at this shot. And this will back up your point about toughness.
Well, I mean, he hung in there on a ball from Rich Loisel, a big, heavy sinker in the 90s. It came right in and just heat-seeked right into his face. And he had friends and family there, and the story is remarkable as Ray Durham takes ball one. He had friends and family in the stands, and he did not want them to think that he was hurt, so he went down to first base before he left the game. And he was bleeding like, well, you saw how hard he was bleeding, but I mean, that's how tough the guy is. the kind of player that he is. He's thinking about his family in the stands more so than he was of himself. His reputation around the league is unbelievable.
That's something else. I mean, all catchers are tough. There's never been a non-tough catcher, but that really was something. There's a ball hit over Etherington's head and bobbled at second base by Ginter. Reeder down to second base safely, and Ray Durham reaches.
I remember he was having some leg problems. Dan Conte, the Giants trainer, thought he could have come back about 3 days ago, but they were very, very cautious. Tonight going in, and this is, I guess, if you're a trainer, the one thing you don't want to see, a guy trying to leg out an infield hit. Well, he got down the line right there at 4-2. That's cooking. So I got to believe he passed the test right there with his legs.
Now here's Omar Vizquel. He flied to left his first time up. Now the Giants, they have speed, obviously. Durham just 17 stolen bases his first 2 years as a Giant. He's not been completely healthy in either year. Omar Vizquel's had some pretty good steal years. And it will be interesting to see, Kruk, if Felipe plays a little more of a running game, at least until Bonds comes back, hopefully sometime in May.
Well, whatever they do is going to be more than what they did last year. Last year, the Giants, the slowest team in the league. They didn't steal any bases. But I think you have to at least have the threat within your club that you could steal a base, and you can steal a base in a situation where you need a stolen base. You know, a tie ball game in the 7th inning, and all of a sudden there's a 2-out single by Omar Vizquel. Well, guess what? That's a base stealing situation, and he can get that for you. And I think Durham, with healthy legs, can do that again for you. Durham was very disappointed the last couple of years, and he hasn't really stolen bases like he thinks he can. You're not going to get a whole lot of stolen bags from J.T. Snow, Moises Alou, and Gardo Alfonso, Mike Matheny, but up top of the lineup with Durham and Vizquel, there's a possibility you're going to get some bags stolen.
Vizquel takes it low, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. J.T. Snow waiting on deck. Kirk Reeder reaching on the fielder's choice. Ray Durham with the infield single. 1 out here in the Giant third. He got one he could drive, and he hammers it to right field. Kirk Reeder being waved around by Gene Glenn. He will score. Durham looks healthy. Coming down the line is Glenn Durham, going to come on home, and he will score without a throw. 2-run double for Omar. Stan Conte obviously very happy that Ray Durham went from first to home and did not break stride. He may be a bit winded.
You talk the sequence about things you wouldn't want to see if you're a trainer with a guy on with a leg injury, leg out an infield single, to try to score from first on a double. Again, another test passed. Wow.
Good piece of hitting there by Omar Vizquel. Got ahead in the count, got a pitch he could drive, and he ripped it to right for a 2-run double to tie the game.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, he is slappy from the left side, but if you drop something down and in around the knees, he can drop the head of that bat on it, and he can drive it. They really gave him the line in right field. They cheated to the gap in right center, and he just burned the defense.
Here's J.T. Snow now trying to bring in Vizquel. J.T. single to right, his first time up, and there is Stan talking to Ray Durham. Good to see a run like that. Just don't do it again now. Wait till Tuesday at about 1 o'clock.
Now, they've got a good night for it too. It's not your typical Northern California evening with wind and moisture in the air. Ooh, good pitch to the head. He just missed it.
Ray Durham really worked hard in the offseason. Stan Conte gave him a different type of training regimen this offseason. Did more leg work, sprinting and running to keep those legs in shape. Something he started to do when he came off the DL last year. Two-one pitch. J.T. Snow, when he came off the DL last year, was a whole different hitter. He had the best second half in all of the National League last year.
Well, Willie Upshaw really made a big difference in his approach.
There's a walk. Etherton squirming a little bit. He hit Matheny to open the inning, and he's been off kilter ever since now. And he will face one of the great RBI men in baseball, is Kurt Young. The second-year pitching coach comes out, the former lefty. He will talk to Etherton as they have to deal with Moises Alou with 2 runners on and 1 out.
Now the discussion here, I mean, the Giants have made some adjustments now to Etherton, the second time through the lineup. They've seen what he has, and they are setting up for pitches. They're setting up for sides of the plate in areas of the strike zone, and when he's dropping it in the area that they're looking for, they're whacking it.
Mike Matheny always with the pitchers, hanging out with Kirk Reeder, as we see Moises Alou, 109 RBIs last year 5 times. The last 7 years he's driven in 100, and he's a career 300 hitter. This guy, one of the most feared hitters in the National League.
He can hit. You know, the other thing too about Moises Alou is the bigger the at bat, the better at bat he has.
Hammers one to left center. Coming in is Vizquel. The Giants have the lead. JT Snow will be held at third base. But Omar Vizquel has his first SBC Park hit as a Giant with a double to tie the game. And now Moises Alou comes up with his first SBC hit to bring in Vizquel. And the Giants have a 3-2 lead.
They set up on the outside corner. This thing comes right back out over the heart of the plate, mid-thigh, to a guy who hits a good fastball. You cannot make those kind of mistakes to a hitter like Alou. And he is really starting to build his swing. He started out slow this spring, and he has dialed in that front side solid now, and he had a good look at that whole strike zone. Good coverage there.
And that's what you want, right? To get hot the last week or so. This one hit to left field and sharply by Pedro Feliz. Burns back, will make the catch. JT Snow will tag and score. Sac fly for Feliz. The Giants with a 4 spot here in the 3rd.
And the other thing that Felipe Alou was really excited about this spring training was the situational hitting that his team employed. And in spring training, you know, you don't really talk to your club about having at bats like this, looking for a ball to get up in the air. You're just trying to establish your zone, track the ball, put a good swing on, get your balance. But not with this club. This club really took pride in the way that they hit in situations, and there was another good example of successful situation hitting.
The Giants really teeing off here against Seth Etherton. Couple of RBI doubles, now a solid sac flyby from Feliz. Here's Edgardo Alfonso. He flied to right his first time tonight. 4-2 Giants. There's a fastball in. Alfonso got jammed a bit. Burns will come in and take it. For the Giants, welcome Omar Vizquel and Moises Alou to San Francisco. They drive in runs, and the Giants score 4 in the 10th. Greg Papa, Mike Krukow back at SBC. Game 1 of the 2005 Bay Bridge Series. He's a 2-run homer from Eric Burns in the 2nd for the Giants with 4 in the bottom of the 3rd. 2-run double from Vizquel. Moises Alou, a RBI double and a sac fly from Pedro Feliz. Here's Eric Chavez lifting one to left center. Marquise Grissom will make the catch, and Chavez retired quickly, 1 away. A's and Giants go this weekend. The Rangers on Sunday, and then Tuesday afternoon, Bank of America presents one of the best days of the year, the home opener. FSN Bay Area will begin the coverage at 12:30 with all the pregame festivities before the Giants take on the Dodgers. That's Giants Dodgers, sponsored by Bank of America, Tuesday at 12:30 on FSN Bay Area. Jason Schmidt against Derek Lowe. He gets the opening day start. Former Boston Red Sox, now a Dodger. Well, the Dodgers had a very interesting offseason, didn't they? Wow.
Well, they broke up one of the best. Well, they broke up the best defense in the National League. They weren't even close. They were that good. And you know, you take away.
Burns lifts one to left field. Pedro Feliz coming in for it now, and he'll make the catch 2 away.
Alex Cora, their second baseman, gone. Adrian Beltre, gone. I mean, that's a lot of defense from an infield that was just stellar And I think that's going to have a big impact on the way that ball club plays. I mean, Jeff Kent is a real good second baseman with what he can get to. He doesn't have the range that Cora has. He's tough around the bag, got a good relay arm, but I mean, they're giving up range. And Jose Valentin's going to play third base there now. Beltre gone to Seattle as by way of free agency. That's a huge impact on that ball club. Whether or not they overcome the trades, we'll see. But a whole new look for the Los Angeles Dodgers this year.
Then they're going to run out a sinker ball pitcher on opening day in Derek Lowe. I mean, you don't want that inner defense to be changed like that with Lowe on the mound.
Well, I think Lowe's style of pitching is very National League-ish. I think he'll do well. I've always liked his sink. I mean, he's never, I don't think he can throw the ball straight. National League has always been a sinker ball league.
2-1 pitch to Hatteberg. Leader misses, and the count is 3-1.
But the point you make is, you know, you take away a lot of defense and you go out and spend some money on a sinker baller. Jeff Weaver, who had a good year for the Dodgers last year. I mean, he's a sinker baller.
And Eric Gagne has not looked real healthy this spring. Omar Vizquel smooth, and that's a 1-2-3 top of the fourth shutdown for Woody at the end of 3.5. 4.
You're watching FSN.
Well, good to be back at SBC Park as the Giants are getting ready for the brand new year, and they are going to open at home. Giants will play 14 of their first 21 games this year right here at SBC. Marquise Grissom against Seth Etherton. Let's see how Etherton does here in the fourth after the Giants knocked him around for 4 in the bottom of the third. And here's the 1-0 pitch. Count is 2-0.
I like Etherton's motion out of the windup. Very compact, real small take back steps, good balance, upright position, not a lot of sway. You know, you always talk about balance in any aspect of a motor skill sport, whether it be basketball or golf, baseball, certainly every aspect of baseball, pitching, playing a defensive position, balance at the plate as a hitter. You've got to have it.
Grissom draws the walk. Kruk here on opening night at SBC. Mindy Bach with us tonight here at SBC Park. She'll be with us predominantly on Friday nights on FSN Bay Area, and she'll be wearing orange, I hear, this year, huh, Mindy?
Yeah, I guess a lot of it. Imagine this entire ballpark, 42,000 fans covered in orange. That's what the Giants want to see every Friday this spring and summer and into the fall. They've even made up these new T-shirts for all of their fans, especially this one. It's become a favorite already. It says Beat LA. And they're going to have giveaways and prizes for the best dressed fan, and they're encouraging everybody to come in orange on Fridays. And Mike, this might be a good thing for you. I think orange could be your signature color.
Really? Oh, thanks a lot for that, Mindy.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, well,
the orange people, they were out last year.
I'm going to get an orange 3-piece suit, wear it every Friday.
With the matching orange shoes.
Orange fedora.
That's your look. Etherton fires over to first. Marquise Grissom after the walk. Here's Mike Matheny now. And casual Fridays are out here, I guess, and it's now Orange Fridays, as the Giants announced earlier this week on Tuesday. Giants also announced on Tuesday that at some point later in the year they're going to honor Rob Nand, one of the great Giants of all time, retired this offseason.
Well, you start talking about Rob Nand. I mean, I could talk 8 innings about Rob Nand, but you know, when you're a guy who has an arm injury, your team's making a run for the World Series, and you basically say, you know what, I'm going to risk my career to pitch and see if we could go and win a world championship. And he did it. He put his career on the line, and it cost him his career. I've got nothing but respect for Rob Nand, and every Giants fan, I think, feels the same way. We miss Rob Nand, and I think by the fact that the Giants are going to honor him this year, they could do it 4 or 5 times, as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's going to be highly emotional when he returns. The Giants have not yet firmed up a date, but they have announced that Rob Nand will be honored. Armando Benitez takes that spot in the bullpen. Grissom on the run, a swing and a miss. Grissom steals second base. He's safe on the throw by Jason Kendall. Matheny strikes out, 1 away.
Got a great pitch to steal on. Big slow curveball from Etherton.
And here's Kirk Reeder now. Giants also announced a couple of their great pitchers are going to be honored this year. Two guys who have thrown no-hitters throughout their Giant careers. Juan Marichal going to have a statue dedicated when the A's come here in late May. 9-foot bronze statue out in Lefty O'Doul Plaza of the great Juan Marichal. And they're going to retire Gaylord Perry's number 36 later this year on July the 23rd. Make some room. Mac and Cha-Cha. Juan Marichal's 27 already retired. They'll add 36 there. With some franchises, you see the retired numbers and you have to get into their guide and think, who's that guy? Who's that guy? But the Giants, you see 24 and 27 and 30 and 44. You don't have to ask anybody who those guys are, do you?
No. No, you don't. That's one of the reasons you like to come to play for an organization like this. You got some history behind it.
That's a fair ball. Kendall will throw out Reeder. Grissom holds his ground at second base, 2 away. There's Willie Mack. Giants already have a couple of statues, obviously, of Willie McCovey and Willie Mays.
I mean, no disrespect to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, but if you're going to be a big leaguer, I mean, you want to be able to tell your kid, yeah, I played the same organization that Willie Mays played in, Willie McCovey played in, Mel Ott played in, Christy Mathewson played in. I mean, come on.
They don't have a Rocco Baldelli statue yet now in front of
not yet.
The Dome in St. Petersburg. It's just a few miles to Cooperstown from here. There's a strike.
You know, I was really fortunate in my career to play for 3 franchises that had history: Chicago Cubs, Philadelphia Phillies, and of course the Giants. But you know, I always enjoyed that. I always liked going to the ballpark and seeing ex-Cubs or ex-Phils or ex-Giants.
Durham tags one to right, and it'll be caught by Swisher. And down go the Giants here in the 4th. End of 4 full. Giants 4, Oakland A's 2. That sounds cool. Work with Brian Sabian and Ned Coletti and Dick Tidrow. I think everybody that's ever watched this game or played this game has thought about that very thing, putting their own team together. There's Nick Swisher, who grew up around Major League Baseball. His dad, Steve Swisher, a long-time Major League catcher.
Played with Steve in Chicago.
Now, you were speaking about the Cubs and the Phillies and the Giants, and you've had the privilege to play with 3 organizations that have had great storied histories.
Well, if you're a baseball player to get to the big leagues, I mean, you had, at some point in your life, you had to have been a fan. You had to have followed the game, and in most instances, you're aware of the game's history. At least you should be.
Swisher to base hit. Pedro Feliz will hold him to a leadoff single here in the A's 5th.
That is a good swing. Nick Swisher is primed and ready to have a good start for the A's. This is a real compact hack. I mean, he is a great balance right there. Look at the head stay still through the ball. You know, the key for Swisher is discipline. If he can work hard and take care of himself throughout the season, I mean, he will have a good year. What you always worry about with players making the big league level for the first time is how they're going to fare in late August and September, because there's nothing in the minor leagues that can prepare you for what your body feels like in the month of September. And if you haven't gone through it, you really are at a disadvantage when you're playing against veterans who have.
Here's Scudero, who bounced to Alfonso at 3rd. Nick Swisher enjoys himself. He is a non-stop talker. I think he's wearing out JT over at first. This one fouled out of play.
Watch the front foot, takes his stride and just rolls right through. His hips unload. It's not common you see guys do that with their front foot, but still you see every once in a while. Still, you can have balance on the side of your foot, just like if you plant the spike square to the ground. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
Well, hit to left field. Pedro Feliz coming over. Will put it away. Swisher going to tag up, but does not advance. 1 out.
You know, Pedro Feliz has a good arm, and if you're going to challenge him, you better bring some leg speed, because he's got some gun out there. Just to finish our point, though, I really think that, you know, when you get drafted buy a major league team in a draft, whatever uniform you put on for the first time, you always sort of have to think of yourself that way. And I don't care how long you play or how many teams you play for, that first one is real special. And if you're with an organization that has been around for a long time, it means a little more.
Atherton going to bunt one foul. Remember, he was up only to bunt even with 2 outs his first time up, and he struck out. He offered a 2-strike pitch and bunted it foul, and you strike out when you do that. And I think he's going to bunt again here.
Yeah, he's like 0 for 4 in the bunt department tonight. But this is a bunt situation.
He's going to get a chance to go 0 for 6, I think. He's going to get 2 more here.
He'll get 1 down.
Let's see. 0 for 5.
Maybe not.
Well, you know what's cool about the Giants? I don't know how the Cubs and Phillies were or are, but a lot of franchises who have great histories don't celebrate them. They don't bring people back. They don't want to retire numbers. The Giants are extraordinary about celebrating their past.
Well, you have an owner that is very knowledgeable of the history of the club, and Peter McGowan has done a lot for the former player in honoring past teams and honoring past players. Another big part of it is Mike Murphy. Mike Murphy has always made players who come back in as retired players feel like they're part of that whatever team is playing at that particular time that he walks in that clubhouse. And I can't say enough about what that means as an ex-player. Because when you go back into a clubhouse, you don't know anybody. If you've been 10 years away from the game or 15 years, and oftentimes you're walking back in and your kid's with you, and you feel like you're from some other planet. Well, not with Mike Murphy around. He brings you in and he tells everybody who you are and makes sure that you feel just as much part of the team as you did when you were playing. And I think that's a special talent. That's one of the reasons Mike Murphy's a special guy.
0 for 6.
0 for 6.
Atherton strikes out again.
Now this is Swisher in both at bats. Watch the front foot as it spins out. Just it's his style. The front foot plants and it rolls completely on the side of his foot. But the balance with his hips, you see his hips, his body's right between his legs. The balance is perfect. He's got drive off his back leg. If you're a hitting coach, you don't even worry about that.
Marcotte now, the 2nd-year Oakland A, former National Leaguer with the Marlins and Padres. Well, he had a great season last year with the A's. Started a bit slowly, then got red hot. Played very well. Drives this one to right field. Ball will hook foul.
We were talking this time last year about the impact that Marcotte would have on the A's, the type of year that he had for the A's, the way he solidified center field. And hit in a spot, I really don't think he is a prototypical leadoff hitter. I think he'd be better off hitting in the 3rd hole. I think he has that type of ability. But he really impacted the ball club in a positive way. And I think Jason Kindle's going to do the same thing for the A's.
This one hit to left center field. Feliz wrists him back. Pedro there puts it away. Leadoff single by Swisher, but he does not advance beyond first. We played half the game. Giants 4.
You and your family, you can announce the starting lineups on the field and a chance to be a Nestle's junior announcer plus more. How do you win? Just tell us in 100 words or less why you should be chosen to live out your fantasy. And send us a letter to Kids Opening Day, SBC Park, San Francisco 94107.
That'll be against the Colorado Rockies. Omar Vizquel leads it off for the Giants here in the 5th. JT Snow to follow. Then Moises Alou, batters 2, 3, and 4. 4-2 Giants.
Good changeup right there.
Bobby Kelty has come in for the A's. He's now in left field, and Eric Burns, who was in left, slides over to center. And Marcotte, who ended the top of the inning, is now done for the evening. 0-2 pitch. Ball is popped up. Going out is the shortstop Scudero, and there's the first out here of the 5th. We'll bring on JT Snow. Jesse Foppert, we were talking to Felipe Alou about him earlier, Mike. He is up and loosening in the Giant bullpen. Well, it's good to see him healthy and back, huh?
Yeah, he's got his body back. underwent the Tommy John surgery for his elbow. And I like what he did this year. Went down to Puerto Rico, played winter ball. You know, he really has pushed himself to get back to where he is right now, and where he is right now. And you're listening to his skipper, Felipe Alou, says he's a big league pitcher. That's what you want to hear if you're a young arm.
There's a strike to JT. The Giants essentially have 6 starters ready to go. There was some uncertainty involving Jerome Williams, whether or not he would get enough innings in after flying back from spring training to Hawaii to be with his ailing father. But he finished strong, and he is good to go. JT Snow takes a cold strike 3, 2 away.
Paint fastball on the corner. Etherton could do that to you. He can corner pitch. See Kendall sitting up completely off the plate. Little sink that runs away, just getting the outside corner. And Chris Gaccione, the home plate umpire, biting into it.
Now Etherton trying to end tonight with a good finishing kick here. Moises Alou lifts one to left field. Ball well struck. Kelty back to the warning track. Moises Alou, his first homer as a Giant.
On a breaking ball. Remember his last at bat was a fastball inside. The first pitch he jumped all over it. And here Etherton said, I'm going to start you out with something different. I'm going to throw you a breaking ball. Again, the kind of at bat you want to have if you're a veteran going into a season opener. A first pitch breaking ball, and watch this. A little bit out front. The hips go a little quick, but the hands stay back. Boom.
Man. Well, he did that quite often against the Giants over the years. He does it tonight, even in a preseason game. Still feels good, and he is locked in. Now, one thing about the last week or so, Mike, Omar Vizquel and Moises Alou, they both got off to slow starts. I don't know if it's a big thing, but when you change teams in the spring, I think you want to have a good start even in the exhibition season. But they're locked in now. They've been really strong the last week or so. Ball line to Burns in center. Pedro Feliz retired. Moises Alou. He knows Russ Hodges and Bye Bye Baby in the great tradition here in San Francisco, even though it does not. Moises Alou, quite a night. 5-2 Giants lead. Let's check in with Mindy Buck. Mindy?
Well, the other great thing, Greg, about spring training is all the food at the ballpark if you've missed it all during the winter. Well, we're with Storeman Norman Simpson. He's got these fly flatbreads and flatbreads, and his new thing this year is whoopie pies from the East Coast. Quickly tell me, what is a whoopie pie?
A whoopie pie is a main treat. 2 delicious pieces of chocolate with an icing. You'll end up licking a plastic bag. The icing is so damn good.
So good, in fact, that he's going to deliver them to your seat this season, correct?
Correct. It's a new thing this year. We're doing special delivery. We don't want you to miss any action. We don't want you to miss any home runs. And we surely don't want to have you walk all the way down here. So we're going to deliver. We're going to have a cell phone number, and bing, we'll deliver right to you.
All right, that's full service. Thanks so much. All right, guys, back to you.
We'll send 2 our way. A couple of whoopie pies. There's Keith Ginter, Jesse Foppert.
I heard of whoopie cushions. I never heard of a whoopie pie.
We'll find out shortly. What a moment for Jesse Foppert. Got in the one game at the end of last year. Last game of the year at Dodger Stadium, but he's not been on this mound here at SBC Park or Pac Bell Park Group since 2003. He's back.
By the way, bang, bang, couple of strikes with a couple of curveballs. Said he's throwing harder. His fastball before he got hurt was up around high 80s.
Keith Ginter takes one down the line, and that'll be extra bases in the corner. Ginter will get into second, leading off the 6th with a double. So Foppert is in. Kirk Reeder gives up a couple of runs, and he goes 5 innings tonight. Kirk now going to join us from downstairs. I think you're all set to go for your opening night next Wednesday.
I hope so. I'm ready to go. I feel strong, and you know, good to get back on the mound in a big league ballpark, and you know, get back out there, feel a little bit of adrenaline rush, and you know, I'll be ready to go next Wednesday.
Woody, it looks to me like your arm is higher than it was last year. Your sink's back. Your slider's got good tilt to it.
Yeah, I feel good. You know, I felt good in the bullpen sessions. I really worked hard, you know, just to get that feel back with the good movement and going inside with a little cut on it, and even with changeup and curveball. Just
whoa! You just said you're going inside.
A little bit more. A little bit more.
Well, it's been there for you for 10 years. Does Matheny have a lot to do with you going inside? Has he helped you go to that side of the plate?
I mean, I usually have just followed kind of the pattern of, I don't shake off a lot, as you probably know, over the years, and you know, he's been done a great job going back and forth, and that's what he told me that he wants to do with me, as far as from when he hit off of me and when the Cardinals hit off of me. They look to go back and forth, and he thinks that's what I need to do to be effective. And you know, I haven't shaken him off, I don't think, all spring.
How nice is it to have Omar Vizquel at shortstop?
Pretty nice, pretty nice. You know, anytime you can add Gold Glove guys to your team, and especially for a pitcher like me, you know, that needs his defense, it's fun to watch him out there.
Guys had a couple of nice 1-6-3s against Jason Kendall.
Yeah, the first one was okay. The second one, I kind of let him a little too far, but he doesn't have all those Gold Gloves for anything. So I think I'll just get it around the vicinity, and he'll take care of it.
His footwork is just extraordinary. You could see it on that second one.
Yeah, I mean, he's incredible. He's fun, like I said, he's fun to watch, and he's fun to watch just take ground balls. So.
That ball rolls fair off the bat of Kendall. Matheny throws right in the line of the runner, and it's down the first base line. Durham will back up. Runners advance, though. Ginter winds up on third, and Kendall winds up on second base. Let's go back and take a look at the 1-6-3s you were a part of against Kendall. Woody, and tell us how you fed Omar here.
If this is the first one,
first one's on.
First one was okay. I'll take the first one. The second one, I let him a little too far, but you know, he, like I said, he didn't have all those Gold Gloves for anything, and you know, he was able to adjust to it pretty well.
Well, if you listen to your pitching coach, Dave Rigetti, he thinks you should be a guy that gets Gold Glove consideration.
I don't know. I work hard on it, and you know, I try to. You know, I know that's a part of my game I need to be successful, and I've always worked hard on fielding, and then, you know, it's an out, and if it gets by you, it's usually a base hit. So I give up enough of them that anything that comes back at me, I try and stop.
Well, let's talk about you're a good fielder because you're in good position, number one. And getting in position is something you would think more pitchers would do a lot of, but a lot of guys can't do it. Is that something that just came easy for you to get square to the hitter once you threw it?
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a big guy like following through and falling down all through college and even in the minor leagues. So it was pretty easy for me. And I know some guys, you know, have a hard time because they follow through more and they're falling off the mound. And fortunately, I've been able to still make pitches and be in a good fielding position when I'm through. And it's definitely helped me in my career.
Eric Chavez, a base hit a moment ago to make it 5-3. Eric Burns, the batter. They're talking to Kirk Reeder downstairs, and got to ask you about this big weekend coming up. Now, is it possible to pick up the shed, Woody, and bring it out here for Saturday evening when your Tar Heels take on Michigan State?
I wish I could. I wish I was there. This is, you know, it's kind of bad.
You got
Final Four being in St. Louis, and
Man, right
I can't be there with my boys being in the Final Four, but I'm going to be rooting hard for them, and I do have a few tickets, and I'm sending my boys, so there won't be all Illinois people there. There'll be a few Illinois boys, but they're going to be dressed in Carolina blue, so hopefully we can pull them through and get them a national title.
See, now I got a problem with that. How can a guy from Hoyleton be rooting for North Carolina? You are the biggest front runner I know. You rooted for North Carolina, Dallas. Who was your football team? Dallas?
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Now, why doesn't that surprise me?
It was the early 80s when I was about 10, 11 years old. And
well, look at them now. The Cowboys and the Cornhuskers aren't any good anymore.
Yeah,
so
I still like them. I still go to the games. So it just happens that Carolina was bad a few years ago. They had a little downtime.
Matt Doherty era.
And, you know, I stuck through with them, and I'm just a huge fan of those three teams.
Well, when you were a kid, man, you weren't doing much hang time with losers.
No, I was jumping on the bandwagon when I was a kid. I will admit that. When I was 10 or 11 and my brother was 5 years older, I was definitely jumping on the bandwagon.
Well, it's right center field, caught by Moises, tagging and scoring as Kendall, and the A's have pulled within 5-4. Now, you were 11 years old when Michael hit that shot to beat Georgetown in '82, and that's where it all started, right?
Yep, that's where the Carolina thing started, and I just have followed them, you know, all the way through. And, you know, the last 5-6 years I've been fortunate enough to go down there and watch games in Chapel Hill, and it's a great experience. And, you know, I plan on doing it a little bit more when I retire here in the future sometime. I'm going to go down probably 6 or 7 times a year, and I won't miss them if they're in a Final Four.
What you tell me last year, you have a Roy Williams picture on the wall in the shed, don't you?
I do. I got Roy Williams with McCants and Felton all signed.
Yeah,
so.
you know, I don't mind the Roy Williams picture, but all the candles you have around it, that's too much.
Yeah, all the good worshiping I do to Carolina.
Well, this schedule works out perfectly. The tip is at what, 5:45, I think, our time.
Oh yeah, it's a great schedule. We're off on Mondays, so it couldn't have worked out any better. So you got to take it one game at a time, though. So hopefully, I'll be watching intently Saturday night, and hopefully Monday I'll be watching too.
I think we're looking at North Carolina, Illinois in the finals. You like that one?
That's what I predicted.
That's what you predicted with the start?
I'd probably rather see Louisville maybe, because all my buddies are Illinois fans back home. So I don't know if I want to have to go against them.
I still can't believe a guy from Hill. Now, Ray Durham. Now he's from North Carolina. Now, he could be a
Carolina guy too.
Okay, now he has every right to be a Tar Heel guy, but you, front runner, you.
No, I told you I was a front runner, not anymore though.
Well, after last year, I think you backed it up. But you know what, though? A lot of us feel that you go as North Carolina goes. Every time they have a good year, you have a good year. So we're pretty excited about this.
That'll be good. That'll be good. The last time they won a national title was '93, and that's the year I broke into the big leagues and, with Montreal. So, and I did okay that year. So hopefully you're right, Krug.
So if they win the national championship, you'll win the 7th game of the World Series. Is that what you're saying?
That would be fine with me.
Now, what's the correlation with your brother Brent? He coaches high school basketball in St. Louis, and they won their division championship state title this year, right?
Yeah, he won it again. He's 2 out of the last 4 years. He's won the state title, and it's a big thrill. He teaches and coaches at Lutheran North High School there in St. Louis, and they get to play at Mizzou. I don't know what they call that arena down there right now, but that's where they get to play the last 2 games. It's a big thrill for him, and he's done a good job.
Double play here. Ray Durham going to catch the line drive. Off the bat of Hatterberg will double up Eric Chavez. Well, Durham makes the play while you're talking. It's got to be a Carolina Blue weekend.
That is good right there. That's a good sign.
Thank you for your time, man. Good luck on next Wednesday. On the shores of McCovey-Combe, Giants are back home here in 2005, playing game 1 of the Bay Bridge series. They'll play again tomorrow night. Brett Tomko against Rich Harden over on KTVU. And the game Saturday will be across the bay at the McAfee Coliseum, new home of Kiko Calero. Calero came from St. Louis in the Mark Mulder trade. Will pitch the 6th inning here for the A's.
Kiko Calero has good stuff. Last season, 3-1 in 41 games, 2.7 in ERA. But look at the strikeouts per innings, 47 punch-outs against 10 walks and 45 to third. I mean, this is the way he thinks. He thinks strikeout. Likes to work quick. And he's got good stuff.
He figures to be the A's setup man this year for Octavio Dotel. Edgardo Alfonso, Marquise Grissom, and Mike Matheny scheduled here in the bottom of the 6th. The Giants leading 5-4.
Nasty 2-pitch sequence right there. 90-mile-an-hour fastball in the corner, strike 1. Come back with a good break him down, break it ball. And that froze Alfonso, and it was right there in the knee-high corner, outside part of the plate.
Alfonso to left center field. Kelty and Burns there. Eric Burns will take it. 1 away. A's have their backup catcher Adam Melhuse in. Adam got a lot of playing time last year in combination with Damian Miller, but he doesn't figure to play quite as much this year with Jason Kendall. Kendall likes to start 150 plus every year. Here's Grissom. Last time he walked and stole a base. Now, we were told that Kirk Saarloos was going to follow Seth Etherton as these two right-handers were dueling for the 5th and final spot in the A's starting rotation this year. Maybe we'll see Saarloos later, but Etherton goes 5 tonight and gives up 5 runs. Two-0 pitch. There's a strike. Breaking ball.
2-0 hook. Calero's got good feel of that breaking ball. He'll do that a lot behind the count, fastball situation.
Calero, not a young guy. He's 30 years old. He was in the Royals chain for 7 years. Then he went to St. Louis for a couple of years. And he's got Calero, Danny Herron, and a catcher named Derek Barton for Mark Mulder. There's a walk to Grissom. Grissom doesn't walk a lot. He's got a couple of walks tonight. And he's going to walk right off the field now. He's done for the evening. And a guy we talked about earlier tonight, Jason Ellison, who had a tremendous spring and stands a very good chance to make this 25-man roster. First time he'd make an opening day roster in his career. He'll come into pinch run. Mike Matheny.
I think anytime you have Jason Ellison come into a situation like this, you have to think stolen base possibility. Another element to his game that is a desirable if you're Felipe Alou. You're looking for weapons coming off the bench, and a guy who can play in all three positions in the outfield and can pinch run and steal you a bag late in the ball game. I mean, that's a commodity. I mean, he was the kind of guy I felt he could hit 250 and make this ball club this year, because you know, they need a guy who can do that in the outfield, defensively play all three positions. But you know, he's done way more than that.
Well, this is something you'll probably see Felipe do quite a bit at this juncture in the game, where he may send Ellison in with the Giants holding a one-run lead or so as you approach the later innings, and a pinch run for any of the three outfielders, and stay in the game and play defensively. Ellison 27 stolen bases last year at AAA Fresno, on top of a .315 batting average. Could be two. Ground ball to short. Scudero to Ginter, and that's not a double play. Hatteberg could not handle the backhand. It squirts away. Ginter comes up hobbling as Ellison went down to second hard.
Well, it's your job as a runner. You know that second baseman's going to be on the bag. You anticipate him going to the left side of the bag. And here, Ginter uses the bag to protect himself and still gets a shin burger from Jason Ellison. And that just means that Ellison's not afraid of contact. You saw the whip. Shin burger. Ginter still trying to walk it off.
And the A's have had a hard time keeping their middle infielders healthy this year and last year. Crosby out with a hand, a wrist injury. Of course, Mark Ellis is not playing tonight, but figures to play a lot. Had a terrible shoulder injury last year. Ball slapped foul.
Pretty good hack. Jesse Foppert could hit.
He's a good athlete, Jesse Foppert. Went to San Rafael High School and was a two-time all-conference basketball player.
Yeah, don't let that 081 fool you. He's a better hitter than that. One thing he did last year, I never did. He hit a triple, and it was easy. He's about 6'6", and he can run. You watch his stride, real athletic.
Jerome Williams had a triple the other day in a spring game.
Yeah, now that's a body that doesn't get a lot of triples.
But he was flying.
But he's athletic. I mean, Jerome Williams is a good athlete in anything that he does. Watch the way a guy runs. I mean, he'll tell you if he's a good athlete.
And we were talking about a lot of guys losing weight coming into the year. Jerome Williams lost quite a bit of weight, worked very hard in the offseason. Actually began to really work on his body, conditioning-wise, more after he got hurt last year. There's a strike three called. Foppert out on strikes. Gallardo, nice outing here for the A's. Giants don't score in the sixth. End of six full. 5-4. Time now for our Bank of America game reset. Giants with a 5-4 lead as we go to the seventh. On a night here at SBC Park, we said hello to a lot of the new Giants. Mike Matheny, Omar Vizquel, and Moises Alou. Eric Burns with a two-run homer off of Kirk Reeder in the second. But then the new guys got going. Kirk Reeder with a pair of 1-6-3 double plays to Omar. the outmaker. Then Omar brought out the bat. 2-run double. And Moises Alou, his first home run as a Giant. He's a serious dude, Moises Alou, but a little smile there. And now Jesse Foppert picks it up for Reeder after Kirk went the first 5. Jesse gave up a couple of runs there in the 6th inning. Kirk Reeder went 5 and gave up 2 runs. Foppert gave up a couple in the 6th. Now he'll work the 7th here. Nick Swisher will lead off for the A's.
It'd be a good matchup right here.
Marco Scutaro will follow as Nick Swisher takes the first one for ball 1. Swisher having a good night. He's 2 for 2. Doubled his first time up and singled last time up. And very talkative. When he got over to first base after a single last time up, he was carrying on a lengthy conversation with J.T. Snow. I think J.T. heard his name there. There's ball 2. You spoke to Nick before the game, didn't you, Mike? He is he's a confident guy.
He does not lack confidence. You're absolutely right there. Well, yeah, I knew Nick Swisher when he was a baby playing with his dad. He's handed out cheap cigars. The old man handed out cheap cigars when he was born. I was telling him about that in spring training. He laughed. He says, that sounds like the old man. Not like J.T. Snow's old man, Jack. He handed out the good ones.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. There's Jack's boy. J.T. going to join us now. Lance Negros over to first base. J.T. out of the game as Nick Swisher takes strike 3. What was Nick saying over to first base with you, JT? He was wearing you out, wasn't he?
He said, I've watched you. I don't know if this is good. I've watched you play first for a long time, and I like the way you play first, and I've always admired the way you play.
Wow.
And I told him to stop right there because he was making me feel like I was 45 years old or something.
He didn't ask for your autograph or anything, did he?
No, not yet.
But he's doing what a rookie should do. He should suck up to the older guys.
Well, we talked about he said he used to be a first baseman and play first, and he since moved to the outfield. But, you know, I said that us lefties, we usually end up at first or the outfield on the mound. There's no other place for us to play. And I was telling him that I didn't throw hard enough, and I didn't run fast enough, so I ended up at first. And I said, you must have some wheels to be out there. But I think lefties always check other lefties out, and he looks like a pretty good player. There's only a select few of us.
Jason Ellison comes in and makes the catch for the second out of the inning. Nice play by Jason Ellison. He's going to be a great defender off the bench. Speaking of left-handers, here's Rubio Durazo, who is going to be the A's DH. Had a tremendous season last year, second year as an A after good career with the Arizona Diamondbacks. He'll be pinch hitting here.
JT, I want you to finish that thought. You're talking about a select few. Yeah, what were you talking about?
Lefties.
Well, lefties that can play first base like you, there's a select few.
I mean, lefties in general. There's only a few of us around.
Yeah, does that tick you off when people always say that lefties are flakes? I mean, what's up with that?
Some of them are. They're not lying. But there's a few of us other ones that aren't. So, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe we think with the different part of the brain or the opposite side of the brain. I don't know. Something made us left-handed.
Well, you guys are actually right-minded, being left-handed. Just tell them that.
Kurt Reeder is
the way it works, right?
Kurt Reeder's not a true lefty. There's a few true lefties that I've played with out there.
Well, Scott Ayers is a true lefty.
Scott Ayers is a true lefty. Sean Estes was a true lefty.
Yep.
Christensen, I don't know. I don't think
he's borderline.
So. Yeah,
he's got true lefty tendencies. And then you got Eric Burns as a true lefty. And he's right-handed.
He's on. Yeah, he's screwed up somewhere along the way. He should be a lefty. I told him when he hit that home run and he was rounding first, I told him to stop making us look bad because every time he plays here, he goes off. I think last year he hit for the cycle. Yeah. And
now you do any radio work with Burnsy? I know FP and you on, and he had Burns on. Are you guys ever on together? Durazo takes this one to left sharply. Getting back is Pedro Feliz to make a tremendous catch. JT, hold that thought.
Okay.
JT's going to be a radio star this year over on KNBR. Nice play by Pedro Feliz. That's twice. He's gone back to the wall and made a very nice catch. Opening day. Armando Benitez, a new Giant. Sure we'll see him some point this weekend. And Ryan Dallimore is going to lead off here for the Giants in the bottom of the 7th. Ricardo Rincon is in for the A's. Speaking of lefties, Rincon now in as we are going to continue our visit with JT Snow from the Giant dugout. So you're all set to go. Opening day, you're all systems go for Tuesday.
I think so. I think, you know, I don't know if there's a right number of at-bats or games played for spring training. I think the longer you play, the more you just like to get your work in when you're feeling good and feel like you've had enough. It's time to just jump in. The season's so much different than spring training. You know, spring training can be long, and you're playing against guys or facing guys that you don't know or have never heard, or it's just, and we have a veteran team, so I think guys had a very business-like attitude this spring and got their work in, and you know, and you're ready for opening day. Just jump in and start playing. Away you go.
Dallimore. Well, who knows if he'll make it on Tuesday. What a great spring he had. He hit exactly 500 in the Cactus League. He's breaking.
Going 26 for 51. And this is not a hanger. He goes down there, golfs this one up right at the knees. Wow, I mean, JT, you look at a guy do this, have this kind of spring. I mean, you have to root for him as another player.
You do. He's, as long as he's been around and as much baseball as he's played, you know, he's a very popular guy in the clubhouse and on the field, and everybody likes Dally. Only bad thing about him is he went to Stanford.
Yeah.
Spoken like a true Wildcat from Arizona.
That's right.
Now, we were talking to Reeder about his Tar Heels. We want to bring up what happened last weekend now, huh?
Well, I've always got one up on Reeder because he didn't go to North Carolina. So anytime you root for some program that you never went to, it doesn't hold a lot of merit. So he can root all he wants for the Tar Heels.
Murray State's not in the tourney anymore,
exactly.
No.
We just drop a Murray State on him and he clams up.
Who was Murray, by the way? I didn't know
Fred
that was
McMurray.
a state. Fred McMurray?
Fred McMurray State.
My three sons?
Murray State Racers.
Bill Murray State.
He's an Illinois fan, Bill Murray.
That's what they are, the Murray State Racers?
The Racers.
That's sad.
The Speed Racers? Here come the Speed Racers. Yeah, there you go. We got a side by side. I don't know if you can see it on monitor. I got
I don't know.
a Tar Heel.
We have an off day on Monday, and I think the final game is Monday night.
Yeah.
So, and I know Woody's not pitching on Tuesday. If they end up winning it, and they're cutting down the nets, I don't know if we might see, and Woody's from St. Louis. Let me see him shaking hands with
he may be right
Williams
there.
or something.
He'll be right there.
With a pair of scissors.
He could. He could take the red eye back.
He might. We were talking about that today in the clubhouse. Keep your eyes on him. He may disappear for a day.
Put a beeper on him, as Kipe would say.
That's right.
Now, you and Woody have been teammates for a long time now.
We have. It's been a lot of fun, and I tell you what, he's as competitive this year as he was the first year he showed up here. He's one of those guys that just battles every time he takes him out and competes, and you want guys like that on your team. It's a pleasure to play with guys like that. It doesn't matter he could be playing you in cards or be playing shooting free throws or something. He wants to beat you, and that's what you want on your team.
Talk about some of the new guys. You were talking about the professionalism on this team, and that's what struck me, just saying hello to Omar Vizquel and seeing what kind of shape he's in, and likewise with Mike Matheny and Moises Alou and Armando Benitez. These guys are great pros.
They are, and I think the longer you play this game and you watch guys from the other dugout and you admire the way they play. I played against Omar in the American League when he was with the Indians and the Mariners, and obviously watching Matheny catch in St. Louis and playing against Moises and facing Benitez. I mean, you have a respect and admiration for guys that have had successful careers and go about baseball the right way, and these guys do it. And then when they come onto your side and they're in your dugout and you get to see what great guys they are, it's really neat. I mean, it makes playing the game fun, and you know, we're with these guys counting spring training about 7 months of the year, almost every day, and there's nothing better than having a good group of guys, good chemistry, and We've got that this year, and guys have been around a long time, and they know how to play the game, and they know what to expect from the game, and I think it's going to be a fun year.
Gallimore takes off. Chavez takes one to left field, and that'll be caught by Kelty. Gallimore back to first, one away here in the Giants' 7th.
Well, you can't say enough about respect. And when you bring over a player with reputation like Moises Alou or Mike Matheny or Omar Vizquel, it will elevate those around him. And in turn, it will elevate themselves because they're coming to a clubhouse that's established. Guys like, of course, Barry and Grissom and you and Alfonso, I mean, veterans, they want to play up to your level as well. So everybody benefits from it.
Right, and I think that I'm talking to guys this spring just to hear what they have to say about playing against the Giants and the respect that they have being in that other dugout, competing against us and watching the way the Giants go about their business. That's the ultimate compliment. That's the ultimate respect that you can get from another player. Now when he's on your side, it's just going to make it that much better. So you're right. The one thing you have in this game is your reputation, and the best thing you can have. Holy cow.
Lance Negro scalding one down there. Look at how close that come to you. You have your back turned. Be careful.
Don't worry, you'd have caught it.
He wants to make the team, I guess, trying to take me out. But yeah, it's going to be fun. I mean, these guys are all business. Come to the yard, get the work done. Come back the next day and let's do it all over again.
Lance Negro pops one to Swisher and right. 2 away here in the Giants' 7th and a 5-4 lead over the A's. Speaking of Arizona Wildcats, you're going to be visiting with former Wildcat Tom Tolbert every Friday afternoon over at KNBR with Ralph and Mr. T. What's that going to be, about 6 o'clock in the afternoon before the game start?
I think so. They asked me to do the show this year, and they've had some good guys do it in the past. Barry's done it, and Jeff Kent, and Rich Aureli's done it. So I was honored for them to ask me to do it this year, and it's fun. I'm just hoping to, give people and the fans a little peek behind the curtain of what it's like to be a major leaguer, and maybe give them some good stories that they can appreciate, travel-wise or game-wise, or just little things that they may not get a chance to ever hear or experience. So it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully we have a successful year, and there'll be a lot of good stuff to talk about. But I know Tom from way back in Arizona. We went to school together. He was a couple years ahead of me, of course. But
and despite that, you've agreed to do the show.
Despite that, and I even had some classes with him, as a matter of fact, but I never saw him in class.
Not surprised.
I just saw him on the midterm and the final.
Well, he was doing the freshman level psych class when he was a senior. Is that
those basketball players? I don't know. They didn't have to go to many classes, and us baseball players, we were always pounding the books.
Yeah, that's the way it is in every program.
All those the big money programs, baseball doesn't do a whole lot for the school. So we do have 3 national championships though down in Tucson.
Well, I look forward to those meetings because I mean Tom is certainly an articulate speaker, has done a great job as a color man for the NBA.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's fun to talk to guys that have been on the professional level and have played the game and kind of know a little bit about daily routines and what you go through. And so I'm looking forward to it.
Adam Shabala takes one to right center, and that's a base hit. Gallimore advancing over to third base. So the Giants with a couple of base hits here in the 7th off of a veteran lefty, Ricardo Rincon.
That is a good swing right there. Always talk about balance. I looked at this guy and I always thought he was kind of a middle-in guy, but the more I watch him swing the batting practice, he's got drive the other way. I mean, he really is gap to gap. You can speed him up if you throw him off speed middle in. He could pull that pitch, but he really is square to the field, and that's a nice swing.
Ken Maka is going to come out and make a pitching change here. JT, we certainly thank you for your time. Tell your dad I say hi.
All righty. My pleasure.
We'll be listening to you every Friday afternoon with the Razor and Mr. T over in KNBR. Good luck on Tuesday.
Good luck to you guys.
It's JT Snow as the A's make the pitching change here. Ricardo Rincon knocked out as and Ray Fosse. It's Monday at 11:30. The A's and the O's on Bank of America's opening day. Britt Reams who does not figure to make the A's to start the year, will likely pitch at AAA Sacramento, where he was a year ago, going 3-5 with a 4.67. Comes in.
He's had a good spring. This guy's 31 years old, got a little over a year's experience in the big leagues. I mean, he is an insurance arm, but his big league career is he's averaged just about a strikeout an inning, 194 strikeouts in 205 innings. But the problem with him has been throwing strikes.
Pedro Feliz might get a stay in the game. This will be his 4th plate appearance. 0 for 2 with a sac fly. Felipe has begun to pull Durham and Vizquel and JT and Moises out of the game. Alfonso's out. Grissom's out. Just more that he wants to get him a little more work in left field, you think, is why he's getting the extra AB?
Yeah, I think, again, from a manager like Felipe, who was a former outfielder, he knows just how difficult it is. And for Pedro's going to see a lot of time out there until Bonds gets back in the lineup. All the innings that he can get playing in this ballpark are going to be beneficial come Tuesday when the regular season starts.
And left field here is no piece of cake. And everybody talks about right field. You made the point many, many times. Left field here is extremely tough.
Well, it's the sun field.
Pedro is swinging a miss, strikes out. So Reams gets the A's into the dugout. Straining 2. Giants don't score. 5-4 Giants. Greg Papa, Mike Krukow with you on opening night here at SBC Park, game 1 of the Bay Bridge series. Mindy Bach is going to join us every Friday night here on FSN, and let's check in with Mindy now.
Well, Greg, SBC Park has a long way to go before it reaches the historical significance of a Fenway or Yankee Stadium, but the Giants are slowly starting to change that. This summer, they will honor 2 of their Hall of Fame greats. You mentioned this earlier, Juan Marichal and Gaylord Perry. They will honor Marichal with a 9-foot bronze statue out in Lefty O'Doul's Plaza. Gaylord Perry will have his number retired later on in the summer, so never again will you see number 36 on a Giants uniform. Guys?
Well, actually, I saw number 36 out there, Lance Negro, having his number retired. Nuxie, but they're going to do it officially for the great Gaylord Perry, who began his career with the Giants. Jesse Foppert continuing here now for a 3rd inning of work, as he'll face Bobby Kelty. Kelty gets his first AB of the game. Yes, before Lucille, there was Crazy Crab.
Yeah, you guys, they want to bring back the crab. You know what? That would be fine with me. I dug the crab. Bring back the crab. That's great.
You get a mixed bag with the crab. Some like the crab, some didn't like the crab.
No in between on the crab.
It's right there, huh? And you were a pro crab guy.
Well, you know, there were some times back there in 1984 and 85 when the crab was the show.
Bobby Kelty with a base hit in the big gap in right center. Ramirez now playing out in right field for Felipe Alou. Will fire it back up. Let's see. Mike Matheny is the catcher. It's the only guy that's been in the duration tonight. Lance Negro, mentioned him. He's taken over at first base. Mendez, Chavez, Dallimore. Shabala was in right. Now he's in left. So Pedro Feliz got that final at bat, and now he's done. Ellison in center, and you saw Ramirez pick it up in right center. This is Jermaine Clark getting an at-bat with the Oakland A's, a local kid.
This guy's got some game.
Speaking of got game, Barry Zito and Eric Chavez, 2 big stars for the A's. And a new role for Barry Zito. He was the last of the big 3 to make it to the show. And at age 26 now, he's the leader of a very young starting rotation. And they need Zito to have a big year, Mike. Of course, in 2002, he won the American League Cy Young Award, but since that point, he's been 25 and 23, and his ERA's been up a little bit every year.
Well, one thing though, he's been pretty consistent the way he has eaten innings. Last year, 213. The year before that, 231. The year before that, 229. The year before that, 214. So that's what you want your ace to do. He's going to be the innings eater. We're talking about Jermaine Clark, and I mean, this I think is the type of a player that organizations look for. I mean, it really isn't anything he can't do. He can play every position. I mean, he'll even strap it on and catch if you ask him. I mean, he can bring a lot to a club. Plus, he can run. I mean,
he flies.
He can steal you a bag. And that's what you want to do. I mean, you've been around the game long enough, and he has. You start looking for ways to get yourself to be that 25th guy, if that's what it takes to get you to the big league club. Because what he wants to do is get to a situation at the big league level where he has a chance to play consistently and let everybody see what he can do. And when you can play every position in the outfield, you can play in the infield, you're a commodity.
Jermaine from the Bay Area, as we mentioned, born in Berkeley, went to Wood High School in Vacaville, same school that Jermaine Dye, the former A turned White Sox, attended. Then he went to the University of San Francisco. Well, it's an all Bay Area matchup here. Clark versus Jesse Foppert and Eric Burns. A lot of homegrown talent on the field tonight. Got jammed. He can run though, Clark. Tough play at third. And a quick release and a throw across the diamond made by Dallimore. Kelty goes to second base, one away.
Boy, how sweet was that pick? Everything about this play had to be quick. He had no time for error. The release had to be perfect. Coming in, concentration to the glove off the wrong foot, the right foot. And you better have some arm strength to be able to come from that angle and shoot out a fast runner like he just did with Jermaine Clark. Nice play.
Well, Brian Dallimore's got to be wondering to himself, what more do I need to do to make a major league club? And we'll see if he does make the Giants. So be in a battle, you would think, theoretically, at a 25-man roster with Jason Ellison, Tony Torquato, or the last couple of position player spots available. All the major league clubs have to be down to their 25-man roster by Sunday night. I think 9 o'clock our time, midnight in the East. Foppert will fire to second, and getting back is Kelty.
You know, we always talk about how bad it is for the managers around big league baseball and how difficult a time it is because they have to tell good people, big leaguers, that they're not going to the big leagues, guys who've earned a job, but there just isn't a slot there for them. And it is a very difficult thing to do because the guy doesn't want to hear it. He's not going to buy into it. He knows that he has done what he needs to do. But still, it becomes a numbers game. And for Felipe Alou, it's very difficult. But it's also very painful for Giants general manager Brian Sabian. It eats him up. And when a manager has to do the dirty work, so to speak, that's not necessarily the case here in this organization.
A nice swing by Melhuse, a base hit. Ramirez will come up, and he will hold Kelty at third base. So the A's looking for the tying run here in the top of the 8th. Have runners at first and third, and just one out. A nice swing by a backup catcher, Adam Melhuse.
Now Melhuse is a guy looking for opportunity, but he felt all along last year that he should have a pretty good shot to make this team as a starting catcher, not as a backup catcher. And he's been pretty quiet this spring, but I think deep inside he burns because he is not going to get a lot of playing time, not with Jason Kindle slotted in to catch about 140 to 150 games this year for the A's.
Now this is interesting. Eric Chavez going to stay in the game. One of the few A's regulars, although Burns is also waiting on deck. Ken Maka letting his guys play a little bit longer. Of course, the A's open their season on Monday in Baltimore. They're not going to play on Sunday. These three with the Giants, first two here, and Saturday over at the Oakland Coliseum, McAfee Coliseum, as it's now been called, will be their final 3 games.
Well, now it's a strikeout situation in a first and third one-run ball game for Foppert. He's got to a quick 0-2. This 0-2 pitch will be an interesting pitch. I mean, this is where you really have to think what you want to do with the pitch. I mean, Chavez is a guy who will elevate if you make a mistake out over the plate up around the letters. We saw him do it earlier this year with a long home run he hit against the Giants in spring training at Scottsdale.
It's this one solidly, and he ties the game. Coming in is Kelty. Ball skips past Ramirez. And Adam Melhuse being waved in by Ron Washington. We're going to have a play at the plate, and he is out. Great relay. Mike Matheny with a block of home plate. The A's tie the game, but do not take the lead.
Now right here, as it got past Chavez, and he goes off the wall to the bare hand, just like any infielder that boots the ball going to your bare hand. You don't have time to go to the glove hand exchange. Then a nice relay feed. And Mike Matheny, the Gold Glover, does the rest. And that was not an easy play for Matheny. He had to come back across his body and then swing back to drop a tag. Sacrifice that left foot to put on a tag. Nice play.
It went Ramirez from right field to Mendez at second. A great turn, and the throw home to Matheny, the 3-time Gold Glover, with the block on the catcher Melhuse. So the batter Chavez winds up on at third base, and there are now 2 outs. Let's take another look at this relay from Ramirez. Nice pick by Mendez, and the throw home.
Well, it wasn't a strike, but it definitely was a ball that had got there in plenty of time, and I think that's what any second baseman will tell you when they have to make a tag play, or any catcher, they have to make a tag play. They want the ball in time.
Eric Burns. They go ahead and run at third base here. Burns, a 2-run jack against Kirk Reeder back in the second. And he also picked up a sac fly later in the game with an RBI run scorer. So he's got 3 ribbies tonight. Chased one there, and Foppert will strike him out. And that will be the inning. So the A's tie the game with a base hit by Chavez, but Ramirez, Mendez, and Matheny gun out Melhuse at the plate. We go to the bottom of the 8th, tied. Papa and Mike Krukow back with you in a tie game now. A's and Giants, game 1 of the Bay Bridge series. Mendez leads off for the Giants. Britt Rims stays in for the A's to pitch. Reams faced Feliz, struck him out. With runners on the corners and 2 outs to get the A's out of the 7th, and now he'll work the 8th inning against Donaldo Mendez. Giants have 37 players on the roster. Now they're going to have to trim 12, assuming Barry goes on the disabled list. They'll have to trim 11. A's have 32 left on their roster, and some tough decisions to make.
Well, if you're Brian Dallimore, you're not getting great sleep right now. A lot at stake. He's 31 years old. I mean, he's done everything to earn a job, and he's just not sure if it's there or not. Stay tuned. A lot at stake this weekend. I don't think that it's 100% decided at this point.
There's a walk. Mendez on with a leadoff walk to start the 8th. Now, talking to Felipe Alou, he said, I think Brian Sabean is not yet back to town. They're going to have to get together in the next, he got here today?
Yeah,
and, get together and have a meeting and figure out exactly what they're going to do to get to 25. Jason Ellison, Tony Torquato, obviously battling Dallimore. And it's difficult, like obviously as a player, you set it up, you want to begin the year with the big club if you can, as Torquato did last year, something Ellison has never done in his career. But you got to keep in mind, it's a long year. I mean, you play 162 of these, and the roster you begin with on Tuesday against the Dodgers is not going to be the roster you're going to have, and it's a 25-man roster, but really you're looking at a 40-man roster, and the Giants may use 30, 35 players this year.
Well, you're right. You're absolutely right. But try telling any one of that to the guys on the bubble. I mean, you want to go north. You want it with every ounce of want that you have in your body. You want to go on. You want to be an opening day guy. You want to stand on the line. You want to be announced. I mean, it's validation of what you are as a player professionally.
It's a good scenario for Jason Ellison. We spoke about his defense and base running that he's going to be asked to do. But in a situation like this, the right time of the game here, like this one, bottom of the 8th, tie game, leadoff walk, and now he's looking to drop down a bunt here and send the go-ahead run to the scoring position.
It's great, though. You go around any of the guys, Torquato, Ellison, Niekro, Dallimore, Foppert, you go around any of those guys, and they don't want to talk about it.
It's edgy now.
They do not want to talk about it.
Jeff Facero, he's made a few opening days in his career, age 42. Now Felipe Alou knows well, going back to their collective days in Montreal. He's very much in the bullpen mix. Tyler Walker also. Pins and needles here these last few days. Ellison draws a walk. So a rough start for Reams here in the 8th. Back-to-back walks to Mendez and Ellison.
Well, I mean, normally this would be a bunt situation. But I'm not sure, because it is still a spring training ball game, that they will bunt Matheny.
Well, the A's are going over the very scenario with Marco Scudero playing at short tonight. And Gene Glenn, the Giant third base coach, now going to call Matheny in. Matheny, the only Giant regular still in the game tonight. This is his fourth plate appearance. Hit by a pitch to start, third at bat. Struck out and reached on a fielder's choice. Tony Torquato, the pinch hitter deluxe, has moved into the on-deck circle for Felipe. And now the A's are going to send out Kurt Young, their pitching coach, to talk to Reams.
Well, they may be talking about the very thing, saying, you know what, this is a situation where if you do anticipate a bunt like you would in the regular season, you would instruct your pitcher to throw a high fastball, which is the toughest pitch to bunt. But here, because it's a spring training game, you just can't take it for granted that Matheny will bunt.
Now, these are the scenarios you like to see late in the preseason before it all begins for real. Jason Schmidt against Derek Lowe. That's Tuesday afternoon. Bank of America presents one of the best days of the year. Should be a national holiday. I'm taking it off. The home opener. FSN Bay Area kicks off their coverage at 12:30 with a pregame show. Kruk and Kipe will have the game at 1 o'clock on Tuesday. Now, it is a bunting situation here for Matheny.
Taking a long look at Gene Glenn down the third baseline. By definition, the play should be bunted down the third baseline. Make that third baseman come out of position, making an easy romp for the runner at second to get to third. Button all the way.
And that third baseman is the four-time Gold Glover Eric Chavez. He continues in the game. Ken Maka playing a lot of his regulars the whole game tonight. Chavez still at third. Marco Scudero is still at short. Hatteberg over at first base. Eric Burns still in the outfield with Kelty and Swisher. 1-1 to Mike Matheny. And that's going to roll foul for strike 2. Now we'll see what Felipe Alou does with 2 strikes. Matheny last year a career high 50 RBI years, final year with the St. Louis Cardinals. Well, they hated to part with Matheny, but he demanded a pretty good contract, 3-year deal from the Giants, and they wanted to go to the young catcher Yadier Molina. This one's fouled off, swinging away.
Well, oftentimes, the number of years you have in the game will determine where you're at salary-wise. That determines your situation with your current club. And I don't think there's any team that would willingly trade a catcher like Matheny. I mean, he's that good with the glove. It means that much to your pitching staff. But economics the way they are.
Chavez, what a play at third. He's got one. He'll throw off line. Not able to get the double play, but the four-time Gold Glover with a tremendous play over at third base to get the force on Mendez. One away.
Well, this is just the big leagues right here. Nice at bat from Matheny. I mean, he hits what should be an RBI single. And Chavez going laid out. Steps in the bag for a force, trying to come across the diamond to double him up. That's just, That's quickness and softness to the backhand side that you just don't see very often. There's a reason he's won 4 Gold Gloves, and he just showed you why. That's a big league player. Wow.
Wow. Only Brooks Robinson was 16, Buddy Bell was 6, and Rockin' Robin Ventura with 5. And one more than Chavez, who has won 4 in a row in American League history. Here is Tony Torquato, a terrific career pinch hitter. Last year with the Giants, he was 5 for 9, and all 9 at-bats were as a pinch hitter. In his career, he is 7 for 19, a .368 career pinch hitter. Runners at first and second. And Ellison now is the runner at second base, and he has terrific speed. He would be the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 8th.
Nice 1-0 pitch right there. That's how you neutralize a guy in a fastball count with location. Can't throw a fastball any tougher to a spot in the strike zone than that.
This one is stroked cleanly down the line, foul.
Good quick swing. I love to listen to Joe LaFay, the Giants hitting instructor, talk about Tony Torquato and his mechanics. You always take swing out with young hitters, and you try to get them as quick a route to the ball as you can. And this is a very compact swing. Perfect balance. The ideal swing for a pinch hit role because there aren't any flaws. There aren't many working parts to go wrong. Real tough guy to fool. He's a good 2-strike hitter. Goes the other way. Basically takes what you give him. He's not stubborn.
Reams battling back. Gets the big strikeout against Torquato. 2 away.
Nasty breaking ball. And he saved it for the 2-strike count. Got a good downward snap to it. Perfect location. It's a rough at bat right here. He just struck out a good hitter.
So Reams, after back-to-back walks to open the inning, it's a great defensive play by Eric Chavez at third to Rob Matheny. And he strikes out Torquato for the second out, and now he'll work to Brian Dallimore. Dallimore will try to bring in Ellison and give the Giants the lead back. This one will be popped foul.
You know, it's just amazing how pitchers and hitters pursue things the same way. What you are always searching for in this game is consistency. And the more swing you have, the more motion you have as a pitcher, the less consistent you're going to be. The more parts you have to try and control. And when you get to this level, you just start taking things out and trying to be compact.
Dallimore squibs one, kept in the infield by Jermaine Clark. A spin and a throw to Hatteberg. And the Giants, couple of walks to open the inning, but they are left stranded. Reams pitches out of it. Well, Jeff Fassero, the veteran, will come in and work the 9th inning for Felipe Alou, and he has had a terrific spring. At age 42, Jeff Fassero just continues to pitch effectively. And there are the numbers on the Cactus League portion of the spring for him. Kruk 2-0 with a 2.25.
Well, he knows how to pitch. I mean, he's a guy that doesn't have to have good stuff to beat you. I mean, he can get you out with what he has. He can mix speeds. He's got a good slider. He's got a little sink to his fastball. Very tough on left-handed hitters.
And here's a lefty. Scott Hatteberg to stay in the game for the A's.
But you mentioned something earlier. That's a great point. Felipe Alou, when he was a manager of the Montreal Expos, Fassero was his horse. I mean, he was his #1 guy. He was a starting pitcher for him. He was a very, very good starter. Had made the transition coming out of the bullpen to be a starter. And handled that role beautifully for Felipe. So Felipe knows this guy in and out. He knows what he can do. He knows what he's like in the clubhouse. Fix the club, though. We've had to get him some hair dye because he looks like a bullpen pitcher out there. Okay, it throws BP for you. You know, you tease Fassero about that. He doesn't smile. Okay, that's enough of that. Get enough gray hair, you start to look like a coach or a broadcaster, or even worse.
He looks distinguished. And lead hard. Wicked hard is in behind the plate for the Giants here, catching Fassero. Fassero last year finished up with the Diamondbacks, but most of the year he spent pitching in Colorado. He pitched well on the road. He did not do well, like so many pitchers do not at Coors Field, but he pitched extremely well on the road. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. And there's the first out here of the top of the 9th. Atterberg rounding out to Chavez at short. Cicero, when Felipe had him, he was a starting pitcher. And then he went on to Seattle, had some good years there. Texas, Boston, the Cubs, the Cardinals. Last year, Rocky and Diamondback, pitching out of the bullpen the last few years. But he can do a lot of things. He could make a spot start like he did a few times last year with Colorado if you need him.
Well, plus he could be a left-handed specialist. He can come in there and pitch to one lefty. But as you mentioned, he can spot start, but he can also go in there in the middle of a ball game, pitch 2 innings.
Yeah.
Get through the lineup once and throw some zeros up there. Let your offense try and come back and play catch-up if your starter got rocked a bit.
Now, if he does make the Giants this year, and there's a very good chance he will, as Nick Swisher, the switch hitter, will try him from the right side, the Giants would have 3 lefties in the bullpen then with Scott Aaron, Jason Christensen. Swing and a miss.
Well, I think the beauty of the Giants' left-handed situation in the bullpen is you get all 3 lefties down there that can get out right-handers. Jason Christensen's got a good sinker-slider combination. You don't see that very often from a lefty. And Scott Ayers got 4 quality pitches. I mean, he can get anybody out. He's got great stuff. And Facero's another guy who can get you a ground ball. For a lefty, that's a commodity.
They like the lefty. Rags, he wasn't bad himself on the left side. Giants, of course, had Wayne Franklin for the season last year. He was just released yesterday. Franklin and Alan Levine was also released. What a great spring he had for the Giants.
Well, I think that was a favor from Brian Sabian. Both guys he liked, but it was a numbers game. They're veterans. The earlier you let guys go in spring, the better chance they're going to have at making a ball club someplace else.
Swing and a miss. Jeff Facero strikes out Nick Swisher. 2 away here in the A's 9th.
Good tight little slider, a Jeff Facero specialty. Doing that his whole career. And perfectly placed right below the strike zone, right at the back foot of the right-handed hitter. And a swing through, see ya. Grab some pine meat.
Felipe Alou does not have a lot of pictures, memorabilia in his office here at SBC Park. The one he does have is a team picture of the 1994 Montreal Expos. Team that would have made the playoffs, most people feel, had there not been that hideous strike. There's a base hit by Scudero. And 2 of his favorite players from that club, obviously his son Moises Alou and Jeff Facero, being another member there.
They were loaded. Pedro Martinez, Larry Walker,
yeah.
Marquise Grissom. I mean, that club was just stacked.
Charles Thomas came from Atlanta in the Tim Hudson deal. Going to get a pinch hitting appearance. He had a good offensive year last year for Bobby Cox, but he was a tremendous, and he's a tremendous outfielder. Bobby Cox at one point last year said he was the best left fielder he's ever seen.
Their outfield last year in Atlanta was unbelievable. Charles Thomas playing left field, and you had Andrew Jones out center,
man.
J.D. Drew out right. Ooh. That's not a bad club right there. That's 3 center fielders playing in the outfield.
We're going to see a lot of J.D. Drew this year. He's now a Dodger. Talked about all the subtractions from the Dodgers in the offseason, Kruk, and you mentioned Kent. And they also went out and gave a lot of money to J.D. Drew.
Well, I think J.D. Drew could be a superstar in this league. I mean, he's impressed me. I don't think he's anywhere near as good as he's going to be. Best outfield, though, I think I ever saw was 1993 here in San Francisco. Bonds in left, Darren Lewis in center, and Willie McGee in right field. That was a combination of great physical skills and just really bright players, playing positions beautifully. They covered the ground and it just made it look easy.
Charles Thomas, and a nice play at first base is made, and the Shabala and the Giants get out of it, so the A's don't score. We go to the bottom of the ninth. Giants will try to win it here in the bottom of the ninth in a 5-5 game. And here's a young man you've been reading a lot about in the papers, and you may get your first chance to see him here on TV. Very likely will make the A's this year and possibly be their closer of the future. From the University of Texas, love his name, Houston Street.
He gets spanked around a little bit last couple outings, but when we saw him a couple weeks ago, we were impressed with him. He's got a fastball. He's got good sink. He's got a good hard slider. He's got a split. Everything he throws, he can strike you out with. The key with him is going to be location, and you always concern yourself with that with a guy who's got a low three-quarter release, which he has, because normally guys from that slot don't have great command.
Charles Thomas came in to pinch hit, now going to take over in right field. So here is Houston Street as the Giants come to bat in the bottom of the ninth.
It's good giddy up. 93-mile-an-hour fastball borne in on the hands of a right-handed hitter.
Houston Street from Austin, Texas.
You know, we talked earlier in the game about the real compact delivery of Seth Etherton, a veteran. Now you're looking at a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of experience. Just came up last year in mid-season. And look at the take-back step that he has. Nasty slider. 1, 2, 3, see ya. Big step back. He actually starts in the middle of the rubber. Then he winds up on the first base side, right there in the corner of the rubber. That's a lot of movement.
Wow.
As he pitches longer at this level, you'll see him start to shorten those things up.
Well, that is strange. Slider again to the swing and a miss by Lance Negro. Tyler Walker is loosening in the Giant bullpen. Tyler's dad is here to watch him tonight. There's a swing and a miss by Negro.
So far, 5 pitches, 5 strikes.
Slide piece, nasty. 6 pitches, 2 strikeouts for Houston Street.
You know, so far, you see the fastball slider combination. He's got another pitch he can strike out with through the split. Big step back. Good balance though from that point, and just a nasty 0-2 pitch slider that you get Negro chasing.
Adam Shabala now will try him. 7 pitches, 7 strikes for Houston Street.
He threw that ball right by him. Now Shabala's got a great swing. Now he's been late on the fastball, and it's not an easy thing to do to throw a fastball by Shabala. He'll make adjustments here.
First one that misses. He's just 21 years of age. He was the first-round pick of the A's last year. Last June, he was a compensation pick after the first round for the A's losing Miguel Tejada to free agency to Baltimore.
But he's only got 26 innings of professional experience, and where that becomes a detriment is in August and September when he runs out of gas. He's never been in a 6-month season. Now you can see he's got the stuff to pitch at the big league level. But to ask a guy to come up right out of bed with 26 innings and not even a full year of experience and make a contribution for 6 months, that's asking a lot.
Well, that's something that happened last year with David Artsma. He was in a similar situation. Not a lot of professional experience group when he made the opening night roster last year in Houston.
As green as a gourd. I mean, he came in and he had a half a year under his belt, had a good spring, 95-mile-an-hour plus fastball.
All 4, so a couple of strikeouts on 6 pitches. Now a 2-out walk to Shabala.
And what happens? You just get exposed. And where you're not prepared for it as a young hitter or a young pitcher, you're not used to getting hit hard. And that happened last year to David Artsma. He got hit hard, and it never happened to him before. But you're pitching against the world's best hitters, and they'll do that to you. You have to have not only good stuff with the fastball, but you have to have some location with it.
Atterberg staying in the game will draw the throw as Adam Shabala now the winning run here in the bottom of the 9th. Ramirez the batter. The A's would have the lead right now if it was not for the work of Ramirez in right field, digging out the base hit by Chavez and the relay home to throw out Melius at the plate. That would have given the A's a 6-5 lead. Time now called. Now the A's have lost Chad Bradford. Bradford had back surgery a little while back, and he figures to be out till about mid-season, and that may have opened up a roster spot for Houston Street. Runner takes off, and the throw goes into center field. Shabala will pop up and go to third. So the Giants now have the winning run and 90 feet away.
Well, that right there will send loud messages to Felipe Alou. This is a situation we're talking about. 2 outs, you get a gift walk, and now all of a sudden you're going to put yourself in score position. It's a base stealer situation. A breaking ball, really not a bad pitch to throw off of location-wise. Melius had plenty of time to get off a throw, and he hurries it perhaps a bit. He throws errantly into center field, and now the Giants are 90 feet away from winning this ball game.
Adam Melius with the throwing error. Now he'll have to block the balls as Ramirez grounds one to short, and a high throw, but they do get Ramirez, and the Giants will strand the winning run at third base. Houston Street. Well, this is it. Giants' last chance, and again, we're not going to play beyond this inning, so if the Giants score, they obviously win. If they do not, the game will end in a 5-5 tie. Eric Chavez done tonight after a lengthy game. He will yield third base to Mark Ellis. Good to see Mark back and healthy after a rough injury last year where he tore the labrum in his shoulder. He gets a ball hit right his way. Funny how that works.
Every time. The ball will find you.
Mendez wraps out to the new guy. One away here. Here's Jason Ellison. A's and Giants go again tomorrow night here at SBC Park. We'll see the hard-throwing Rich Harden for the A's. Brett Tomko looking to get off to a quick start this year. What a great finish he had last year. That game will be on KTVU Channel 2. John Miller and Mike will have the game tomorrow. Saturday over at Oakland for Noah Lowry against Dan Herron. And then Kruk and I come back on Sunday on KTVU for the Texas Rangers. What a great year they had last year. A shocking year, contending in the American League West all the way to the final week of the year. Chano Park will pitch Sunday for the Rangers against Jerome Williams. And the game on Saturday, by the way, KICU will broadcast that game on Action 36. Well, the boys are back by the bay. There's a strike. Houston Street has been dealing since coming in the 9th. Street a couple of strikeouts in the 9th inning. Ellison, base hit, chopped it right over Ellis's head. Well, the Giants have the speed on base here as they try to win the game in the 10th.
Well, again, a base stealer situation. And your base stealers, your purebred base stealers are guys that can steal a bag when everybody in the ballpark knows that you're going to try and do it.
And with the injury to Hod, your Torrealba will look to be the hero here. It's a big ovation. One of the best backup catchers in baseball back with the Giants this year to back up Matheny.
And he's changed his style of hitting. If you watch his front foot, it doesn't even hardly come off the ground now. Batting practice session today was impressive. Remember, he used to have a big high leg kick and a lot of moving parts. That front foot just rolls a little bit, gets his hips cocked, and that's about all you see. It never leaves the ground.
There's a comebacker to Street. Clark, and he will not throw. They will get the out at second base. Jermaine Clark on the force out of Ellison. So Torrealba reaches on the fielder's choice. 2 away, and this will be the last shot for the Giants here. Otherwise, this game will end in a tie. And Michael Tucker, he had 13 homers his first year as a Giant, and is going to pinch hit. Michael Tucker figures to play quite a bit for the Giants this year in a variety of outfield roles. Very likely he will be in the lineup opening day. I think Felipe's already said he will start opening day against Derek Lowe, the sinker bowler, on Tuesday.
A's have set their outfielders to prevent defense. They do not want a ball to get hit in the gaps to get by into the outfielders, so they've really set up deep.
Well, Giants coming into the game in the Cactus League were 17-11-1. They've already had one tie. This would be the second.
Good location fastball right there, but a good swing by Michael Tucker, who's on it. Sitting in a fastball count, got the fastball, put a good look at it.
A lot of the new guys performed extremely well. As you see Tucker right on top of that one.
He wants that one back.
Omar Vizquel, a good night with a 2-run double back in the third. Moises Alou had a couple of RBIs tonight with a double and a home run.
Front door sinker at the knees. Impressive pitch from the young right-hander. Set up in the inside corner. This freezes Tucker. He scoots back. Boom. There's the action. Bringing it right back in the inside corner. That's a tough two-pitch sequence right there.
Well, you're seeing more and more the college closers going quickly to the big leagues, being drafted as such. That pitch missed to Tucker, and the count is 2-2.
There's that changeup. He'll throw that more to lefties than he will that slider. Changeup has good movement running away from a left-handed hitter.
Houston Street had a terrific career in Austin with the Texas Longhorns, led them to 3 consecutive College World Series appearances and their championship.
Tried to go front door sink again. Not a bad idea following the off-speed pitch, the previous pitch. But he got a little greedy with it. And he got it up a little bit out there. I mean, it ran up the bat on Tucker. Still location-wise, he's ahead of the count here, 2-2. If you look at the situation. Not often you can say a pitcher's ahead 2-2, but in this situation you are. You pitch to a corner as if it's an 0-2.
Mel Hughes calls time.
I think Mel Hughes may point that out to the young right-hander.
And he's young, 21 years of age. First full year of pro ball. Had limited appearances last year. His freshman year at Texas, they won the College World Series, and he was the most outstanding player of attorney back in 2002. Saved the championship game against South Carolina. His dad, James, quarterbacked the Longhorns to the 1969 NCAA football championship. James Street. Torrealba, the runner at first, trying to win the game here in the bottom of the 10th. 2-2 coming to Tucker. Tucker towards the gap. This will roll to the wall. Torrealba will come around, and Torrealba will score. The Giants win it. Michael Tucker off the bench with a pinch hit. Game winner against Houston Street. And the Giants in 10 beat the A's 6-5.
A location mistake in the 2-2 count, and despite the doubles prevent defense, Tucker finds a gap at Triples Alley. And Yorvi Torrealba, who does not run like a normal catcher, sniffing the barn, an easy score all the way from first, and it's time to hit the spread.
He'll pull up there. He knows he's going to make it. So the Giants win game 1 of the Bay Bridge series in exciting fashion here as they win it 6-5, and the game-winning hit by Michael Tucker. against Houston Street. It was very impressive. Had a great ninth inning of work. Pitched well to Tucker. Tucker on that 2-2 pitch, able to slap one in the gap, the spacious gap in right center field. Let's bring in the hero now, Michael Tucker, going to join us from downstairs. Michael, thank you for your time. Congratulations to you. And what did you get from Street? He was pitching pretty well.
Yeah, he's pitching pretty good. A situation where he's just trying to get the ball out over the plate and trying to put a good swing on it.
Well, he worked pretty quick. He go corner tough. He threw you outside. It was a pitch on a 1-0 count you just missed. And then he went front door sinker on you. Then he went soft away, and he came back and missed a location pitch here in a 2-strike. You made the adjustment, found a gap, and that's the kind of at bat you want to take into the season. Nice going.
Oh yeah, that was a good one right there. He had to work for that one.
He did it despite the fact they set the defense out to try and prevent the gap.
Steps in and wins the game with a base hit in the bottom of the 10th.
Quality at bat. Again, that's a confidence builder. When you're looking for ways to build momentum going into the season, that's how you do it.
All right, man. Good game tonight. We'll see Mr. Krukow tomorrow. We'll be on with John Miller on KTVU Fox 2 for Game 2 of the Bay Bridge Series. That's Hardin against Tomko. And we're back with you on FSN Bay Area for the Bank of America Giants home opener Tuesday at 12:30. Dwayne Kuiper will be back for the Giants and the Dodgers. Coming up next, it's the Sports List. For Mindy Bach and Mike Krukow and our producer Jeff Kuiper and our director Jim Lynch, I'm Greg Papa. You've been watching Giants baseball on FSN.